Yes, we can start. Okay, so let me explain how the plan for today is going to be. Before that, just reconfirm me, is my audio and video clear in the chat? Yes. Okay. So giving you a short overview of how today's plan is going to be is I'll just be going through certain idea of what you should know in spreadsheet, what is important for the exam. I'm not going to just give you all I'm not going to like feed you all everything regarding spreadsheet, because one thing is we have limited time. So in 2 hours, if you want to cover the whole spreadsheet, if you want to get the idea of how do you answer spreadsheet questions, what we will be doing is we'll be going through a small overview of spreadsheet and moving on to your real questions directly. So I'm not going to, what do you call, go around the bush regarding spreadsheet. So is there anyone of you all who don't know exactly what the hell is spreadsheet? Why do we use spreadsheet? Any spreadsheet softwares? Is there anyone like that? Like you all don't know what is spreadsheet? Or you all don't know why do we use a spreadsheet? It doesn't have to be that you're a master in using spreadsheet, but the idea is like, is there anyone of you all who don't, you don't like, you know what is spreadsheet? It's a new topic for me. I had never heard this thing. I had never used this thing. Okay, there are some of you all as well. So just for you all, I'm going to give a small overview, and after that, I'll be directly starting off with the questions which we are going to deal. Okay, cool. So shall we start? Okay, so we are going to start. So we are actually at the moment in a, what do you call, a race. Okay, we are going to start the first lap. Okay, so there in this race, there's going to be like 3 laps. So first lap is where you're going to learn a small overview. You all know these car races and all, like how you have laps. After you learn the overview of spreadsheet, like why do we need spreadsheet, what the hell is spreadsheet, all those stuffs. Second, we'll be going on to certain questions where we'll be doing together. And third, we will be doing questions alone. So you'll be doing certain questions alone, and then I will be correcting whether I are correct or wrong. So there's going to be two sides of question. One is where both of us are going to do together as example, and then there's going to be questions where I'm going to do alone. So it's going to be a 3 lap game, okay, a 3 lap race basically, which we have to complete within 2.5 hours. So one thing I'll tell you all, we'll be covering the overview completely, and I'll be doing some example questions. But the questions you're going to do alone, there'll be some questions which we'll be doing today. I mean, which we'll be doing and we'll be discussing today. But there are some questions as well which you're going to do alone. Alone means you're going to do it at home. I'll be giving you all the answers afterwards. Okay, because we have limited time, and I have actually have several papers here. Suppose we have time, then yes. But suppose we go out of time, you will be doing it completely alone, and I'll be sending you all the correct answers. But yeah, so all the questions are audible questions, so don't worry, it's nothing hard questions. Let's start the game. So make sure all of your petrol all are full, your engines all are working like super powerful, and there won't be any breakdowns in the middle. Okay. So talking about spreadsheet, before I talk about spreadsheet, let's talk about some real world scenarios. Now, let's say you're having a grocery. Okay, you're having a grocery. And the thing is, you want to track your sales. Okay, you want to track how much of income you're getting today, how much of expense you're getting today. Likewise, you want to track all of your accounts daily. Let's say a scenario like that. In general, how will you see grocery people doing it? They might have a book. Okay, they might have a book. They'll write one column called income. They might have another column called expense, and they might have another column called maybe like a date, description, something like that. They might normally have 4 columns. Maybe one they might write the date, like when did this transaction happen, and maybe let's say description, like about the transaction something, and let's say they might put a topic of income or expense. Likewise, they are going to record each of their transaction in this format. The dates, the respective description, and whether it's an income or whether it's expense. So if it's an income, they'll mention the amount here. If it's expense, they'll mention the amount here. That's the normal general scenarios you can see in general, like how we do in a normal way. But there's a problem here. What's the main problem you will come across? So let's say you're the grocery man and you do all of these transactions in a book. Let's say you have a book. What is the problem you'll come across? Calculation errors. What else? Anything else? Any disadvantage of using this? Human errors. Human errors can occur in anything. If it's electronic as well, it can occur. Some might steal the book. Yeah, there's security issues. Time consuming, maybe. Can't exactly tell that. Hard to maintain. Yeah. Not accurate, that depends. Unorganized. Yes, it's very unorganized. To keep the book, I need a space. Can't change the values. Yeah, if you want to change the value, you'll cut it. It's very ugly. It's not neat. Okay. Apart from that, tell me, is it more suitable to use a square rule book or a single rule book for these kind of stuffs? What do you think? Is using a square rule book easier or single rule book? Square rule book. Why is square rule book more easy for this? You can use both, okay? Single rule, square rule, both are possible. But why is square rule book more easy? Why do I say square rule book is more easy? Yes. In square rule books, there is something special which the single rule books doesn't have by default. Okay. In square rule books, as everything is in like square, 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 you have something called rows and you have something called as columns, right? You have something called rows as well as you have something called columns. But in single rule book, we have rows or columns. What do we have? In single rule book, what do we have? Rows or columns? We have only rows. Okay, rows are what is basically horizontal. These are basically rows. And vertical lines, they are called columns. Okay. So in a row, if you take a normal single rule book, you will have only what? Only rows. There is no columns. Apart from the margin column, the margin line, there is no other column. So when we are going to differentiate, because now we are writing this date, description, income, expense in a tabular format. So when you're going to draw a tabular format, like in like a table kind of structure, it's very comfortable when you have a square rule book than a single rule book, right? Because why? We have both rows and columns. But the problem we have in maintaining books is, like you all said, it's not organized, it's not neat, changing the values are hard, maintaining it's hard, securing it's hard. Likewise, there are several issues we have in them. So to solve this, what we do is we have something called as the spreadsheet. We have something called as what? A spreadsheet. Some people we call it directly spreadsheet. Some people we call this as electronic spreadsheet. Both are correct. Okay, you can call it as just spreadsheet, or if you want, you can call it as electronic spreadsheet. Both are fine. The advantage of using an electronic spreadsheet is that it's like you're going to have a square rule book, the same square rule book in a laptop. Now, let's say you have square rule books with you. Is the square rule book? Can you type on the square rule book, or should you write on the square rule book? What do you do? Do you write on a square root book or do you type on a square root book? Normally, you write on a square root book. So when you are going to change values or edit text or update something or remove something, it's not neat. You are going to do cutting stuffs, you are going to do tipex and all. It's not very neat. That's one issue. Another issue is if you're going to get a summary. Let's say you wrote the date today and you wrote the income expense. You wrote. Now, think you want to find the summary of today. What is the total income? Today, what is the total expense? The problem is when you are going to get the total of them, sometimes you might miss a value. Sometimes what you call the values you type in the calculator might be wrong. Sometimes if you're going to do manual calculation also, you can make it wrong. There are several issues that could occur. I'm not telling you that will always occur. If you're perfect, sometimes it will not happen. But in general, as humans, we make errors, and by general, we will come across certain issues like that. To solve that, only we have something called as spreadsheets. So a spreadsheet will look like this. So let me show a spreadsheet. This is what we call a spreadsheet. It's like a square rule book. Okay, it's like a square rule book. Only difference in square rule book, each of we call this one box, we call it as cell. Okay, this one box we call it as what? A cell. So one box we call it as a cell. The only difference between the square rule book and here is that in this cell, the cell size is a bit big. That can be, you can change the size, you can make it small as well. That's a different story. But thing is, we don't write top of this. What do? We type. So advantage of typing is what? You can edit the text whenever you want, you can update it, and you can do several manipulations to it. That's the main advantage we have in this. So what we are going to do is, we are going to use this spreadsheet, so-called spreadsheet, to do our daily task in a more efficient way. Okay, and also it's a more secure way as well. There's another advantage of using spreadsheet as well. Do you all know something called as querying? Have you heard this word called query earlier? Anyone of you? Do you all know what do you mean by query? What does the word of query mean? Okay, most of you all don't know what does query mean. Now let's say now you're working this grocery, okay, and you're in charge of this maintenance record, right? And now your owner is coming and asking, hey dude, now let's say your name is Mr. Kamalasiri. He'll come, hey Kamalasiri, are the key the income maker? That dog will come and ask. He'll be like, product sir. And what you'll do, you'll go and check one by one. You're going to take a calculator. Okay, today this one came killer. One by one, you're going to add this income. Now when the owner comes and asks, hey Kamal, what's the expense for today? Again same thing, one by one he's going to do it. Will that take a bit of time, or can he give in split seconds? Can he tell the total income in a split second, or can he tell this will take a bit of time? Yes, it will take a bit of time. So another advantage of using spreadsheet is you can query. Query means you're going to find something. Querying is basically finding. Okay, you're less finding or analyzing, something like that. You can make a query or you can find something very quickly. For example, I'll show you example. So let's say I'm going to record just like the book. I have one column. So these are, we call columns and rows as usual. Let's say I have one column for date, another column for description, another column for income, and let's say another column for expense. So total, how many columns am I using? Total, how many columns am I using? I'm using 4 columns. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Total 4. So let's say I'm recording a detail. So let's say on 1st of July 2023, what do you call, one person came and bought 10 kilos of sugar kilo. And let's say I earn from that, let's say some 5,000 rupees kilo, it was the income. Okay, and let's say on 1st of July, another person came and bought 3 kilos of potato, let's say. Let's put that as 500 rupees went for that. Okay, and let's say on 2nd July, you had paid the electricity bill. And let's say 5,000 went as expensive. 5,000 went as expensive. Now let's say what do you call your first, here I have only 3 records. Okay, I have only 3 records. So each row is called a record, right? Each of this row is called what? It's called a record. So in this what you call spreadsheet, how many records do I have? We don't take the table head as a record. Okay, we don't take the table. This is a head, no, not table head. And the spreadsheet header. Okay, we don't take the header as a record. Just take the things inside this only as a record. So how many records do we have here? We have 3 records, 3 different scenarios. Now in general, if you go for shops when they're doing income expense, you will not have just 3, no, you might be 50 or 100. So if you're going to find the income and expense, very hard. But I'll show you in Excel, I mean in a spreadsheet, how fast you can do it. So what you can do is, I can do something like this, equal this one plus this one. Something like this I can do, or I can directly put equal. Okay. And I'll tell you all how do I do that, what am I doing, I'll tell that in a while when time comes. But I'll just show you all, I can directly find what's the total income, and I can directly find what's the total expense in split seconds. Within a couple of seconds, I'm able to find this. Now, for example, let's say I put a new record here on 3rd July 2023. Someone came and bought, let's say, 1 kg tomato, and that was, let's say, 350 rupees kilo. Now see, automatically this total amount got updated. See, because we can do all our transactions all quickly, because we can do our recording, analyzing all these stuffs quickly, what we do is for our activities where we are going to deal with like these kind of data, where we are going to deal with these kind of analyzing part, record what you call, like making decision part, or let's say recording certain stuffs, or let's say we are going to make certain reports, those kind of stuffs when we are doing, we normally use a software, a spreadsheet softwares for them. So there are different types of spreadsheet software. Now what I'm using at the moment, this is called Google Sheets, right? Apart from that, there is something called as Excel, which some of you all might be common. Most of the places they use something called as Excel. So there is something called Excel. Even your textbook, it's specified as the Excel. Then there is another one called Google Sheet, which I'm using here. There is something called numbers. Okay, so Excel is a software owned by Microsoft. Google Sheets is another software owned by Google. Numbers is a software owned by Apple. So likewise, there are a couple of spreadsheet softwares as well. The most common out of these is Excel and Google Sheets, but majority of the people they use Excel when it comes to, let's say, doing in the laptop kind of stuffs. Majority like schools, everywhere you will come across Excel. But if you see what is more easy, comparatively Google Sheet is very easy. Okay, there are reasons for that. You don't have to know them now. When time comes, I'll explain you all that later. Okay, so for your level, you should also know the interface of a spreadsheet software. So I'm not going to teach you all these stuffs, because that is basically what you have to, you will come across them while starting using the software. When you start using them, automatically you will get used to the interface. Okay, basically what does this button mean, what are the tabs meaning, all these ideas you will get with the time. So you can refer these stuffs for you to get those ideas, right? Apart from that, another thing which we can do in spreadsheet softwares are, we can generate certain charts. For example, let's say I click on this. Okay, it's rows. So let's say I put insert a chart. Okay, see, I can generate a chart, something like this. So let's say I'm going to ignore this. I can modify it, do some modifications as well. So let's say I'm going to change the um, horizontal axis figure. And then okay. So this is showing the number of records basically. It's not showing the, what do you call, amount, but I can show the amount as well. So at the moment it's showing the number of results now. So I can change it if I want here to, Switch rows and columns and use column A as a header. And yeah, done. Yeah. Okay. So likewise, I can actually generate charts. I'll show you charts when you come there. There are different types of charts and there are different types of use case scenarios. When it comes to questions, I'll really specifically specify why do we use what chart and why shouldn't we use this chart in this scenario, Kila. Right? So that's just an overview of why do we use spreadsheet. In a summary I have given you all in the tute as well. For those who join race now, if you want, I can send the tute in the chat as well. Let me send it again. Right? So there's a summary here which you can, others you can ignore it, but if you don't know what is spreadsheet, if you're new to spreadsheet, you can go through them. Okay. Right. So now let's start off with our other next part of the what do you call overview. That is, you're going to talk about the things that are available in a spreadsheet software which you should know. Right. So let's say there is a spreadsheet software like this. Okay, that these, I mean, I have a spreadsheet like this. So this, the whole thing you can take all as a spreadsheet. If you notice here, in the bottom you will have something called as sheet one. Can you see something called sheet one here? Can you see something called sheet one here? Yes, right. Just like you have just like you have pages in your book. Here, what in spreadsheet, what you have is you have something called as sheets. So sheets are like pages. So for example, I can have sheet one here. If I click on this plus icon here, it will add a new sheet. If I click again the plus icon, it will add another sheet. So these are all going to be like pages. It's going to be like multiple pages. So when I'm like you're scrolling pages in your books, you can even scroll amongst these sheets. So you can go around with these are like different sheets. They're not same. Okay, give me 1 minute. Let me put this to charge. Yeah. Okay, these are like actually pages. If you're going to ask me, can't be yes. If you're going to ask me, okay, can't we change the name of the pages? Yes, you can. So if I double click this, I can change the name here. So I can call this like page 2. I can call this, let's say, page 3. Okay. Likewise, I can even modify their name. This whole thing is there, like the whole work, the whole, what do you call, the spreadsheet. We call this whole thing as a workbook. So I can call this a name. So let's say this, I call this my spreadsheet here or my workbook here. Okay. So if you notice, in my workbook, I have 3 sheets. It's like I have a book with 3 pages, right? So you can have any number of pages you want, many number of sheets you want in your spreadsheet. There is no limit actually. It depends on certain softwares, but in most of softwares, there is no limit. You can have any number of software, sorry, any number of pages. Okay. So I talked to you about what is a workbook and what is a sheet. So sheets are like pages. Next, I'll talk about something called as active cell. Now, for example, I told you a while ago that each of these squares or each of the rectangles we have here are what? They are cells. These are all cells. So you notice here, I'm here now in one cell, another cell, another cell, another cell. I'm moving around a couple of cells. If you notice, I am currently at the moment in a specific cell, right? When I am currently at the moment in a specific cell, if I click on a specific cell, there is a blue border around this, right? This cell we call as the active cell. Okay, we call this what? The active cell. So on the active cell, there will be this blue border. So wherever I go, for example, if I go here, this is going to be my active cell, not this. Okay. So if I move here, this is going to be my active cell. If I move here, this is going to be my active cell. So wherever this blue color is there at the cell you are in, this is called as the active cell, right? Apart from that, the next thing which I should talk about is cell address. The active cell we are in, it actually has an address. For example, at the moment, let's say I'm in this cell, at the moment I'm in this cell. Keep in your mind, in a spreadsheet software, each of these columns are named with a letter and each of the rows are named with what? Numbers. You notice A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you'll ask me, okay, so is there only 26 rows, so 26 columns we can have? No, we can have more than that. If you have more than that, what will happen is it will be like AB, AC, AD. Likewise, it will go like that as well. That is actually unnecessary at the moment for us. So let's see, focus only on this below. Now at the moment, I am in a specific cell. So that's going to be my active cell. That's why it's in blue in color. If you notice, this cell is in a specific row and is in a specific column. So for example, if you notice here, it is in, okay, it is in the J, sorry, it's in the J column in the seventh row. You have noticed it. It's in the J column in the seventh row. So I can tell that this cell's address, okay, or I can basically identify that this cell as cell J7. So cell address is specified here. Can you see here J7 killer? The J7 is basically the address of this cell, this active cell. So whenever I move, whenever my active cell is changing, you will notice the cell address here will change because it's going to specify that relevant cell's address. So the cell address is formed. Okay, the cell address is formed by specifying the column name first. Okay, first you specify the column name and then you specify what? The row number. So let's say I am now at the moment in the, okay, let's say I'm at the moment in the, let's say C column. Let's say I'm in the C column. And let's say I'm in the seventh row. Okay, I'm in the C column, seventh row. You all tell me what should the cell reference be? What should the cell address be? Sorry. What should the cell address be in that case? If I'm in the C column, seventh row, if my active cell is C column, seventh row, what would be my cell's address? Not CR7, okay, it's just going to be C7. It's going to be what? C7. This is going to be what? This is the cell address. Okay, this is the cell's address. So we are done with that as well. You know what is active cell, you know what is the cell address. Next, let's see what do you mean by this range of cells. So let's say you're in an Excel sheet, or let's say you're in what you call a spreadsheet, and you're going to select multiple cells. So for example, here, I first of all I double click this and I'm here going, or basically I click this, and I am dragging my mouse down. I can drag it downwards, I can drag it right side, or I can go both, vertically, horizontally, both I can go. So when I select multiple cells, when I select more than one cell, we call that as what? A range of cells. So a range of cell is where you're going to select more than one cells. When you're going to select more than one cell, we call that as a range of cell. And if you notice here, the cell address is changed. How? F3 to H10. So when you are going to reference, or when you are going to when you are selecting a range of cell, it will take the first cell, the left side topmost cell. Okay, it will take the left side topmost cell, and it will put a colon symbol, and then it will specify the right side bottommost cell, the right side corner cell. Okay, so what is the cell address of this is going to be H10, right? So that's going to be the right side bottommost cell. Okay, so we are going to, the address of range of cell is going to be the left side topmost cell, and you put a colon symbol, and the right side bottommost cell. So if you notice here, I have selected the F3 up to H10. So it's showing me the cell address as F3 to H10. So let's say I'm selecting multiple cells. Okay, let's say I'm selecting multiple cells, and the left side topmost cell, let's take it as let's say I'm in A1. Okay, let's say the left side topmost cell is A1, and let's say the right side bottommost cell is, let's say, C2. Let's say it's C2. Then what should my range of cell be? What should my range of cell be in that case? Yes, in that case, my range of cell is going to be A1 to C2. So let's see, is it like that? Let's take A1, that is this, and let's say C2. Okay, so when I selected the A1 to C2, you notice here my cell address is going to be what? The range of cell selected is going to be A1 to C2. Next, let's see regarding the mathematical operators we have. Okay, now you actually all know, we have these symbols, right? Brackets, then exponential. Exponential like powers, like for example, let's say 2 to the power 3, that kind of thing, really is the exponential. Okay, so we have these different mathematical symbols, or we call them as mathematical operators. Mathematical operators. We actually can use these mathematical operators in a spreadsheet as well. We can use multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, exponentials, brackets, all these mathematical operators, we can use it here as well. So for example, I told you a while ago, if I'm going to find the what you call total income, right? So if I want to find the total income, what is the mathematical operator I have to use? Is it multiplication, division, addition, subtraction? Which one should I use if I want to find the total income? I have to use addition. So let's say I'm going to find the average income for this month. Okay, if I'm going to find the average income, then what are the things I need? I need two operators for that. What are the things I need? Let's say I want to find the average. To find average, what and what do you need? You need two operators. You need addition and division. Okay. So likewise, to do certain transactions, or means to do certain mathematical actions, we have to use certain mathematical operators. And have you all heard something called as BODMAS in methods? Have you learned something called as BODMAS, like brackets of division, multiplication, something like that? The BODMAS. That's the order we normally follow when we are doing those calculations, right? Like similar to that only we have in when we are working with spreadsheets as well. Spreadsheets also follow this BODMAS order only when we are going to do certain calculations. So we have multiple operators and they will follow the BODMAS format only. That's a standard format now. So we have something called as formulas and there's something called as functions. So let me talk about formulas. If I want to do certain calculations, then I have to do that. I have to create a formula for that. Okay, we have something called as formulas. It's not going to be like, let's say you're going to find the area, you have a fixed formula like length into breadth. Not like that. Okay, we're not going to have something like that, but it's going to be similar to that. It's not going to be something exactly like that. A slight idea of that. So let's say I want to do certain calculations in spreadsheet. So what I do is, if I want to do any calculations, anything relevant to maths, okay, anything, if I want to do any calculations, basically, I have to use something called as a formula. I have to create my own formula. Okay, we have something which are like a predefined formulas. We'll come to that later. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own formula. You have to keep in your mind just one thing. When you are going to use a formula, you will start, your typing should start with the equal symbol. So after you specify the equal symbol, after that only you are going to specify all the text you actually want. So first of all, you notice here, I have specified the equal symbol. Now let's say I want to find the income of in this above table. So let's say this is a table, this date, description, income, expense. Let me ignore these two stuffs. Let's ignore these two stuffs. So let's say I want to find the total income. Okay. Tell me what are the sales I have to add. Now you all told me a while ago, if I want to find the total, I have to do addition. Now let's say I want to find the total income. So what are the sales I have to add? Not range of cells. I just want what is, because there's only few cells. So tell me what are the cells are there. Most of you all are correct, but then still some of you all are getting it wrong. If I want to find the total income, should I take the column, the cell C1? No. Why? C1 is not holding a value, it's holding a text. So can I do what do you call calculation using a text? No, right? I need a value to do the calculation. So I have to make sure that I'm using only the cells which has a value. So in this case, these are the cells which has a value. But if you notice, cell C4 doesn't have a value. So actually we can omit C4. But like I told a while ago, when we are going to do these calculations, basically, at the moment we have only three cells, so no issues. But in real world scenarios, when you're going to deal with the real grocery shops account, we will have about 50s or hundreds or thousands of records. So in that case, if you are going to filter these empty gaps, it's going to be hard. The answer is correct, okay? It's most of it will C2, C3, C5. Those three cells. So those three cells are correct. C2, C3, C5 is correct. The answer is absolutely correct. Okay. C2, C3, C5. These are the cells we need. But the problem is, if you're going to work in a real world scenario, there's going to be several cells. It's not going to be one or two cells, right? So in that case, when you're going to deal with one or several cells, we'll come with something called as a range of cells. I'll come to that a bit later. But here I talked about something called as if we are going to use the addition operator. I told you when I said my question, I told you that we are going to use addition operator. Even though I told I am going to use our addition operator, some of you are giving your answers as a range of cells. The fun fact was I didn't even ask range of cells. I told you I want what are the cells we have to add. Okay. If you had told your answers C2, C3, C4, C5, then your answer is also correct. Or if you told me C2, C3, and C5 only, then also your answer is correct. Both are correct. I don't have, both can be accepted. Okay. You can either take these set of cells or you can either take these set of cells. Both of these cells can be taken when you're going to do an addition. So let's try and see, is it really working? So let me go for this cell. Tell me what is the current active cell? At the moment, what is the current active cell? It is cell C9. Okay. So in C9, let me do my calculation. So when I'm doing a calculation, what is the first thing I have to type? I told you a while ago. When I'm doing certain calculations, what is the first thing I have to type in a cell? Yes, the first thing I have to type in a cell is what? The equal mark or the equal symbol. After I type the equal symbol, I'm going to continue my next step, right? So let's say I put equal here, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the cells I have to add. Okay, I'm going to select the cells I have to add, and in between them, I'm going to place the plus sign. So let's say I'm following this first one, C2, C3, C4, C5, that order. So I'll be selecting a C2 cell, then I'll press the plus symbol, then C3 cell, plus symbol, C4 cell, plus symbol, and then I click on the C5 symbol. Okay, now if you notice here, it's showing here the total amount as well. Even though I did still click on enter, still it's showing here over this symbol, it's showing me the total amount, right? Now you all see inside this cell, what have I written? I have put the equal symbol and I have wrote the values or the cells I have to add. I have, what did I do? I have mentioned the cells I have to add. Now, if I click on enter, you all will notice it's showing me the total amount, the addition of the cells I specified. It's showing what? It's showing the, how are you clicking the plus symbol? I'm not clicking the plus symbol. I'm just pressing the plus symbol in my keyboard. I mean, your phone or laptop, you have the equal symbol, right? Equal, how the plus symbol? To pick the plus symbol, you press the shift and equal symbol. If you're using a keyboard, laptop keyboard, in phones means you have directly the plus symbol. Anyways, so if you notice here, is it showing, when I typed here, did I type 5850 here in this cell? In this cell here, did I type it as directly 5850? No. What did I type? I typed a equation. Or another name I can give for this equation is basically what? A formula. Okay. I did a calculation by typing an equation. Or another name I can give as formula. What they do? I typed a formula there. So what did my formula do is only, my formula did the relevant calculations. But let's say you want to do some changes. Now you say, now let's say you want, earlier you added, when I was adding, I added C2, I added C3, I added C4, and I added C5. So let's say you don't want to add C4. You want to omit C4. Now you want to do a changes. Can I do any changes for the cell C9? Is it possible to do a changes for the cell C9? What do you think? Is it possible or not possible? Or should I write the formula again from first? What do you think? Can I edit my existing formula or should I retype the formula? What do you think? I can edit it. Let's see how we are going to edit. So if I again go and click on this cell, cell C9, you will notice even though the value is there here on my top place. Okay, we call this as the address bar, right? Okay, if you notice here, I can see the cells, the relevant cells address. Another name we can call this as cell reference. Okay, I can reference a specific cell by its what? By its cell address. Basic by its address I can reference it. What I'm doing is referencing it now. I'm here referencing. I'm saying, okay, at this cell, at this cell, at this cell, at this cell, I'm referencing them. Okay, so I'm referencing here how many cells? I'm referencing four cells: C2, C3, C4, and C5. So let's say I want to remove C4. I'll click on this C front of 4. I'll click on, and I'll press backspace, backspace, backspace. Now I have only C2, C3, C5. So after C5, I'm going to click on enter. Then you will notice I have now completely omitted the cell C4. Okay, I have what? Completely omitted the cell C4. So that's basically how a formula works. In a formula, we start writing with the equal symbol and then we add the respective values we want to add. Okay, that's simple. So apart from adding, we can do average as well. So this is basically the total income. So I'll call this a total income. Let's say I want to find the average income. Let's say I want to find the average income. Give me a formula how I can find the average income. So let's say in cell C10, I want to write a formula to find the average income. You tell me what should the formula be? Now I'll come to that later. So we will start functions, we come functions a little. I asked you all to give me the formula to find the average income. The formula. Okay, again keep in mind I'm asking for a formula. I didn't ask you to explain. Some of you are saying C9 divided by 3, this one, that one, that one, this one. I didn't ask that. I'm asking you the exact formula which I should type in this cell C10. You are keeping in mind that we start a formula by writing equal symbol. For those who already know spreadsheet, keep one thing in your mind. I didn't ask something called as function. I'm again asking something called as formula. In exams, you can write functions when they ask formula. That's a different story. When we are doing the papers, I'll let you know. But at the moment, I can still start functions for you. So I'm asking only formulas. The exact formula I have to type here. 1% is a total divided by the number of cells. Let me type and see will I bring answer. So I'm writing it. Total divided by number of cells. Where I didn't get the answer. I didn't get the answer. 1% is total income divided by 3. Let me type that and say total income divided by 3. No, that formula is not working. That formula is not working. 1% like C9 divided by 3. Let's type in C9 divided by 3. No, that is also not working. C9, C9, wait. C9 divided by 3. That is also not working. Some issue, I think. You see? That's also not working. One person is like equal C9 divided by 3. Okay, let me type that and say equal C9 divided by 3. Don't worry, most of you have got it correct. I'm not telling for you all, okay? I'm telling for the fellows who is not giving me the correct answer, okay? One fellow like write equal C9 divided by 3. Again, I'm telling for those who already know this lesson, I'm not going to use average formula or average function here. We need to start function. Okay, let me give you all the correct answer. One thing I kept told again and again is not to use functions because we can still start functions. They are still in formulas. There are a couple of formulas you can use to find the average. Okay, I'll give you all the different formulas. One is you can write equals and you can write this cell. So this cell has the total income. I can put the total and I can see how many cells we have. I mean, how many income we have. So if you notice it, there are three incomes I have found. So I can put C9 divided by 3. This is one method equals C9 divided by 3. That is one method, right? Another method which you can write is you can put the equal symbol. Note that a formula starts with equal symbol, not equal letters. So I was asking you all for the formula. So you all are describing the formula. Did I ask her to describe the formula? No, right? What did I ask? I asked her to give me the formula, right? So either you can write equal symbol and you can write this once in brackets. So let's say I put a brackets first of all. Open brackets, C2 plus C3 plus C5, close brackets, whole thing divide by 3. I can do like that as well. Okay. Likewise, there are different other ways as well I can follow in order to find what? Find the average. So here what I have done is I have used in this cell I have used is basically the C9 divide by 3 part, and in this cell what I have done is C2, so brackets C2 plus C3 plus C4 whole thing for C5, whole thing closed divided by 3. Okay, that's what I have done here. So you can follow any. I have ignored the equal symbol because I just want to show what is the formula I have used. Okay, so you can follow different ways. After I told you, some people are coming and say you missed the equal symbol. I told her, I'm telling you, this is basically what I wrote in the what I typed in the top cell. Okay, so if you notice the cell, because you all can't see if I'm not selecting that cell, only if it is active cell, you all can see here the formula, right? So you notice, are the answers same or different when I did this? Are my answers same or different when I did this? They are the same. Some of you all sent me the second answer with the equal symbol. Okay, some of you all sent me the second answer, but you all missed the brackets. Okay, so let me remove the brackets and let's see, are we getting the same answer when I remove the brackets? When I remove the bracket, am I getting the same answer? When I remove the bracket, when I kept it like this, okay, when I kept it without the bracket, something like this, am I getting the same answer? Why is that? Some idiot one phrase saying BODMAS is not followed. Because BODMAS is followed, only you are getting that. Because we are going through BODMAS. Why? What it will do is it's going to find, first of all, it's going to go with brackets. So it's seeing there is no brackets. Next, it's going to see is there any multiplication. There is no multiplication. Next, it's going to see is there any divisions. Then see, okay, there's a division here. So what it will do first, it's going to divide C5 by 3. That's the first thing it's going to do. After that, it will add the respective value, which is basically wrong. That's not the way we find average, right? Because of that, error should not happen only. If you notice earlier, I added a bracket. So what will happen is, first of all, it will do the things inside the bracket, which is basically, it's going to add the 3 cells, C2, C3, C5. It's going to add these values. After it add the value, brackets, then it will search multiplications. There is no multiplications here. It will go for division. So after it finds everything inside the bracket, after it solves everything inside the bracket, then only we are going to come to what? The division part. That's why the answer is now accurate and not earlier. Okay, now I am okay with why some of your answers were wrong. So those who did not specify the brackets, your answer is wrong. Huh? Only either these two. By additional, you can add C4 plus as well, but that's irrelevant. The most prominent answer is either these two with the equal symbol, if you're going to answer the formula, right? So that's there regarding formula. Normally, we can use this formula to get more accuracy as well. Because if you're going to type all these separately in a calculator, you can have a typing mistake. Sometimes for 5,000, you might by mistake type 500. For 500, you might type 5,000. Likewise, as humans, we can make mistakes. To avoid that only, we can use these formulas directly to do any calculations. Now, at the moment, what we did is we specified each and every cell specifically. Okay, I specified each and every cell what specifically. But there are some shortcuts I can follow as well. Okay, okay. So basically, there are some predefined formulas. We call them as what? Predefined formulas. Another name for this predefined formula is only what? Which some of you all, like those Pandita fellows, before I came for that, they said you are using. What is it? They are functions. Okay. There's something called functions. Okay. What these functions mean is basically they are predefined formulas. When I asked my question, I told you I'll have to use only your direct formulas. I told that you all can't use functions. After I told also in the previous questions, you all used functions and gave me the answer. That's why I didn't consider your answers as correct earlier. Because my question was like that. Depend you had to answer for the question. Because that's what how you get marks, right? If you just because you know the knowledge doesn't mean you have to drop everything off. Just answer what is asked. Same thing is applicable in the questions as well. Okay. So there are multiple functions we have. Okay. There are several functions we have in a spreadsheet software. For example, if you go, let's say, let me just clear all these points. When I type this equal symbol randomly, okay, and let's say I type the word A, I'm going to get all the available functions starting with A. Then I type B, all the functions starting with B. C, it's suggesting certain functions. Okay? There are several functions in a spreadsheet software. I would exactly show the number even, okay? Because daily, when there's requirement, they create a new function and they update the relevant software. Okay, but the thing is, up for your level, for O levels level, you don't have to know all of these functions. You just have to know only couple of functions which I have mentioned here. That is what the min, max, count, sum, average. Okay, so these are the functions which is relevant for your syllabus. Okay, in your syllabus you have these min functions, max function, count function, sum function, and average. Just like this name sound, only there are use cases also. So we use this function called min to find the smallest value out of a range of cells. Okay, now let's say we have a range of cells. In this range of cells, to find the smallest value, okay, we use this min functions. And in the same range of cells, or any range of cells, if you want to find the largest value, then we use what? This max function. So max function is used to find the largest value in a range of cells, and min is used to find the smallest value in a range of cells. Let's actually test this function and see. So let's say I have the numbers here. Okay, so I have 120. Ignore what I'm typing here. Okay. Okay, so let's say I have a random number of numbers here. Okay, in this range of cells, I have random numbers. You look at this range and tell me what is the minimum number available here. Look at this range and tell me what is the minimum number you can see here. What is the smallest number you can see here? Most of you are telling 0. Let's see, is that the smallest number? Okay, if I want to find the smallest number, what is the function I have to use? What is the function I have to use? I have to use the min function. Are functions a formula? Are functions a formula? Yes or no? What do you think? Are functions formulas? Are functions formulas? Yes, they are. Why? I told you all predefined formulas means functions. So that means all functions are a type of formula, right? A while ago I told you all functions means what? They are actually certain predefined formulas. That means I have given a name and there's a meaning behind that formula. They are basically what? Predefined formulas. That's what I told a function is. No? So based on this, you can make the assumption that all functions are what? All functions are formulas. But are all formulas functions? Are all formulas a function? What do you think? Are all formulas a function? No. All formulas are not functional because all the formulas are not predefined. No? Predefined means is already defined by someone else. Is already defined by this spreadsheet software. No. So if you notice previously what we use function, we defined it. We already told how the formula should be there. Either we define how the formula should be there, or else the spreadsheet software itself define how it should be there. The logic. Ahmad, they are random numbers. There is no meaning behind those numbers. Okay, they are just random numbers. So you can ignore them. Okay. So keep in your mind that all functions are a type of formula, but all formulas are not functions, right? So because function is a formula, if I'm going to type a function here, how should I start the function with? What is the first character the function should have? If I'm going to type a function in the cell A16, what is the first character? I think some of you all don't know English. When I ask first character, some of you all are giving me the whole formula or whole equation. Send you all for a good English class. Just kidding. Okay. So what is the first character you type? It's the equal symbol. Why? Because I told you all formulas should start with the equal symbol. So let's type the equal symbol first. After I type the equal symbol, now I'm going to type the function's name. So what is the name of the function I told you all we use to find the smallest value? To find the smallest value, what is the function we use? In a range of cells, what is to find the smallest value? What is the function we use? Yes, it is the min function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type here min. Okay, I type the min function. Okay, is it necessary for me to specify the range of cells, or can I omit them? What do you think? Is it a must for me to specify the range of cells? Is it must, or can I omit it? What do you think? Is it must for me to specify the range of cells? You have to use your brains and answer that question. Okay, it is a must. Let's say, okay, let's say your mother is telling you, what do you call, go and buy things and come. Go and buy that and come. Okay, the mother is going telling you, go and buy that and come. Okay, she's saying, go and buy that and come. Without knowing what is the meaning of this that, okay, without knowing what is the meaning of that, can you go and buy it and come? Your mother is telling, go and buy that and come. Huh? Go and buy that and come. Without knowing what is that, can you go and buy it? Yes or no? Fazi, how can you do it? Fazi is like, yes, it seems. So Fazi, how can you do it? What if there is a product named that? Show me a product that's called that. Then I'll think of it. Your mother is just coming and telling you randomly, hey, go and buy that and come. Huh? If she said a specific item before, so she should. So if she said a specific item, you have to know that, right? See, you didn't focus on my question. Again, I told you, you have to understand my question properly. Yeah? My question was like, if you don't know what do you mean by that, can you buy that and come? The shopkeeper will give that in our face and send us. Yeah, shopkeeper also can mind read. Again, I tell you, focus on my questions perfectly. Yeah, there's several loopholes if not. Yeah. So if your mother has not specified what does that mean, okay, if you don't know what the hell is that, can you buy that and come? No. But if your mother specify, okay, go and buy, let's say, 1 kilo sugar and come, 1 kilo sugar and come. Now do you know what should you buy? Now do you know what you should buy? Yes or no? At the moment, do you know what you have to buy and come? Brown or white? Okay, let's say it's anything. That's not the issue. She just wants sugar because there is no difference in brown or white, just the color. There is no difference in the end product. Okay. Yes. So when you have something like this, when someone has specified what you want exactly, then you can do the specific job correctly. So the same thing coming here as well. When we are using the min function, if we have not specified the range of cells, okay, if we have not specified the range of cells, do you think that this spreadsheet has artificial intelligence or some mind reading capacity to understand you and figure out how okay this bugger wants this cell only? So even though he didn't specify the range of cell, in his mind he is meaning this kind of range of cells. Does this spreadsheet has some mind reading capacity? What do you think? Or can it mind read like that? No, it can't. Maybe in the future still it can't. It can't mind read. There's have to be certain input. Without if you mind read also, you would have certain connections. There are ways you can a computer can read your mind, but then there should be input. There will be a certain bias connected to your head. If you all know something called as ECG and other one is called what? ECG is for heart. EEG. Like the EEG, there's something called a way, but that's irrelevant for you all. So you can just forget about that. Is it a must to type the function in capital? No, you can type in simple as well. But why can't you type in capital? You are not going to lose anything. You can type in simple, no issues. But the standard way is to type in capital. Okay. Yes, you have to specify in the range of cells. Then only it will be able to correctly figure out. Okay, this bugger wants the minimum out of this range. So if I'm at the moment, what is the range containing the numbers? What is the range containing the numbers? Huh? Answer my question I asked specifically. What is the range containing numbers in my case? Like in this relevant sheet, in this relevant spreadsheet, what is the range of cells containing the numbers? These random numbers are there in what range? In what range is there? So you figure out the range by seeing what is the leftmost cell. So here the leftmost cell is A1, and then you see the rightmost cell, the rightmost bottom cell. So right side corner bottom cell is this. So this is what? This is D14. So range is going to be A1 to D14. Okay, A1 to D14. Okay, that colon is called, we had a colon symbol, right? The meaning of, we call that when we are reading it, we don't read colon D14, A1 colon D14, we read as A1 to D14. Okay, so when you're typing, just write A1 colon D14, but when you're reading, we read this as A1 to D14. So I'm going to specify my range of cell as A1 colon symbol and then D14. That's basically the range of cell containing numbers. And again, I close the bracket and click on enter. Okay, so you notice the function I have used here equals min. In brackets, I have mentioned the range of cells. Now, when I clicked on enter, it will give what? Out of the given range of cell, it will give the minimum value. Okay, looking at this range, tell me, looking at this range, tell me, what is the maximum value available in this range? What is the maximum value available in this cell? Yes, if you look at the cell range, you will know the maximum value is what? It is 98. Let's see, is 98 the maximum? So if I want to find the maximum value, what is the function I'm going to use? If I'm going to find the maximum value, what is the function I'm going to use? I'm going to use the max function. Now you all tell me what is the formula I have to type in cell A17. Okay, what is the formula I have to type it? Note that here you can use functions, okay, because all functions are formulas. Here you can use functions for answer. So tell me what is the formula I have to write in cell A17 to find the maximum value in this range of cell containing numbers. What is the formula type in cell A17 to find the maximum value out of this whole range of cells? What is the formula? Okay, I'm asking the whole answer. What is the whole answer? I will type that. Yes, it's going to be, first of all, I'm going to start with equal symbol. Then you're going to specify the name of the function. Open brackets. Brackets is important now. You can't just keep space and write your answer. You have to specify the brackets. Open brackets. And then you specify the left side topmost cell. It's going to be A1. And then right side bottommost cell, it is going to be D14. Okay, it's going to be A1 to D14. And when I clicked on enter, you will notice I got 98 like you all earlier told. So is it working perfectly? Is it accurate? Is this accurate? Yes, it is accurate. So we are done with the min function. Okay, we're done with the mean function. We're done with the max function. Now let's say we have the count function. Now let's say in this range, so we use the count function also to count the number of cells within a given range. So let's say I want to count the number of cells in this range. Okay, I want to count what? The number of cells in this range. There are three types of brackets in keyboard. What can we use? You have to use only these brackets, only this. You can use other brackets as well, but when you're dealing with functions, you have to use only these brackets. Huh? Inside these brackets, if you want, you can have any other brackets. But front of the function name, you have to go with the normal brackets. Okay, let's say I want to find the number of cells in this range. Use your what you call eyesight and see how many cells are there in this range. In the range I have selected, how many number of cells are there? I guess some of you will have to wear spectacles. In the range I selected, how many cells are there? Let's see. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, in the range I selected previously, there is how many cells? There is 14 cells. I'm asking you the count. Okay, I want you to answer the question I asked. Some of you when I ask what is the what do you call what the count of the range of, what is the count in the range of cell I selected? Some of you are answering D1 to D14. That's why I have to send you out to English class, I guess. Anyways, okay. So my answer again, I'm going to answer my questions, because I can mess up the whole. I can easily make you go wrong in questions by giving you questions which are easy. But thing is, I know that you're a bit, you're not paying attention to read the whole question, and I can play around the hell as well. So to make sure that you answer the question that's asked, not what's there in your head, because your head has everything. Don't put everything on the question, okay? Anyways, so here you all notice that the count is what? The count is 14. Let's see, is it correct? So I'm going to write equal and then the count, COUNT, open brackets, and specify the first cell of the range. So when we're specifying the range of cells, we specify the left side topmost cell, right side bottommost cell. But if you're going to have only one column, it's going to be just the first top cell and the bottom cell. So here the left side topmost is going to be D1 and right side bottom down is going to be D14. When I clicked on enter, you will notice it showed me the answer as 14. Okay, it showed me as what? 14. See, the answer is accurate again. That's what you all guessed. And that's when you counted cell by cell also, you got that as the answer. It gave me what? 14 as the answer. Now let's see the next function, which is the sum function. Yes, you're correct. It depends. It depends on where you're going to implement it. Okay. For now, you just ignore that. Okay. So let's say you want to find the sum of the values in a range of cells. Okay, you want to find the sum of values in a range of cells. Sum of value means the total, the addition of total values. Earlier, what did we do? Earlier, we specified one cell plus another 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 cell. So if there's around 50 or 100 cells, is it easy for you to specify that one by one plus one plus one plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell plus this cell? Is it easy? Or is it unwantedly time consuming? If you're going to specify each cell, now for example, you want to find the total, the sum of values in this range. Okay? In this range, you want to find the sum of values. So when you're going to specify this, if you want to find the sum, is it easy for you to specify the first cell plus second cell plus third cell plus fourth cell? Or you feel that it's unnecessary to do that? Or like it's a waste of time consumption. Yes. When I'm going to specify that, one thing it's time consuming and it's not very easy as well. To make things work, to make things easy, there is a function called sum. Okay, I'll show you. There is some function called sum, and using the sum function, I can make my work easy. So sum is when you're going to write the function, we write the word equal because that's also a formula. And now I'm going to specify sum open brackets, and I'm going to specify the first cell. So let's say I'm going to find the sum of the cells in the range D1 to D14. So I write here D1 in brackets. I write D1 and put the 2 symbol and write D14, and then close the brackets and click on enter. So notice here, once I clicked on say what you call D1 to D14, I clicked on enter, I got the sum of values in this range. Okay, I got what? The sum of values in this range. So if you want to find the sum of values in a specific range, what is the function we have used? What is the function we have used? If you want to find the sum of values in a specific range, what is the function we have used? Yes, you are correct, Fazil. Yes, we have used a function named sum. But it's not compulsory that you have to use only sum. I mean, if you really want to find the addition of a couple of cells, a range of cells, it's not compulsory that you have to use sum. If you want, you can use sum, or you can use cell 1 plus cell 2 plus cell 3 plus cell 4 killer. You can specify normal addition as well. There's no issues. But if someone has specifically mentioned you have to specify use a function, then you have to go with what? The sum function. So use the sum functions to find what? The sum of values in a specific range. Okay, basically to find the total values in a couple of out of a couple of numbers. Next, let's see the average function. Okay, let's move on to the average function. So let's say I want to find the average of these specific range. Okay, I want to find the average. Okay, there are multiple ways. So let's see one of the ways. One of the ways directly I can use a function named average. Okay, there's a function called average. Directly I can use that. So I'll put equal symbol and write average. AVERAGE. I write average. Open brackets. Specify the first cell D1, the last cell D14, close the brackets and click on enter. So if you notice here, once I clicked on, I got it as average. Okay, using the average by entering, I mean using the average function, I was able to find the average value out of this range of cells. Okay, now here I am using average function. Apart from using average function, is there any possible ways or is there any other functions which or any other multiple functions I can combine together to find the average? Is there any ways where I can combine, let's say, two or more functions and find the average? Yes or no? Is there any ways? Yes, there is. I can combine, okay, I can combine what? I can tell, I can recreate this average function, okay? I can recreate this average function by what I can tell to find, first of all, find the sum, and after I find the sum, what I can do, I can use a count function, okay? So by combining these two functions, the sum function and count function, I can actually find the average. Okay, I can what? I can find the average. So now we did a for this cell we use average function. No? So now let's use the sum and count function together and see is it going to work. So I'm going to write equal symbol. Okay, write the equal symbol, and I'll put sum sum open brackets d1 to d14 close bracket, and I put the division symbol, and after I put the division symbol, I'm going to put the count function divide by d1 to d14. Okay. Now here I'm using two functions, right? Front of count, should I again specify equal symbol? Front of count, should I specify the equal symbol as well? No. Actually, when I click on enter, there will be an issue here. Okay, there is a small issue here. I'll show it to you later. But for your level up to now, at the moment, that's not a big issue. So you can ignore that issue at the moment. Okay. So let's say you want to find the average. Either you can use average function or you can combine the sum and count function, just like I have done here. So let's say I click on enter. So why can't we directly multiply by 14 without putting count? So let's say you don't know the count. You're having, let's say this you have a spreadsheet with multiple cells, like several amount of cells, and you want to find the average only within a specific range. Within a random range, you want to specify. Let's say a very large range. Is it very easy for you to count one by one cells? No, you will basically make mistakes. As humans, we make several mistakes. So we want to reduce as much as possible mistakes we can do. As much as calculations we can do, we are going to reduce it. So how did you find the answer as count as 14? If you add cell by cell, you will find the count as 14, right? Without adding, without going cell by cell, you will not find that the count is 14. That's the way you found that the number of cells in this range is 14. No, okay. I mean, apart from the formula I've used here, as general, as a human being, if you want to find the count, what you're going to do, you're going to count it cell by cell. But also as humans, you can make mistakes. Sometimes without telling 14, by mistake, you might tell 15 are there in this range, 13 are there in this range. As humans, you can go wrong, right? So that's why to avoid those mistakes, what I'm doing is I'm combining the sum formula, so sum function with the count function. And am I getting the same answer? Let's see. So actually here I specified the same line. Let me take this to a different line here. Okay. So let me use here I'll specify sum divide by count. Okay. If you notice here I'm using sum divide by count. Here I'm using directly the average formula. Are both of the answers correct? Are both of the answers correct? Yes, they are correct. Now, one of you will ask me, like, don't we have to ignore this zero? What do you think? Should we ignore this zero or not? Should we ignore the zero? No, we should not. Why? Let's say there is in a class 50 students. You can't expect that all 50 get above zero, no? Let's say 10 students got 0 marks. So when you find the average marks of a student, will you ignore those 10 students and find? No. You go to your school and see those who get 0 marks, do they ignore their, in a report card you find average, right? Do we ignore them? No. When you're finding the average, you find the total count, okay, in a specific range. So if you want to, if in your class there are 50 students, 10 students got 0 marks, and let's say others got different marks, what you will be doing is you will be considering all 50, you will be considering them as well. You will not ignore those 10 students. You will have to consider them as well. You can't ignore them. Let's say I'm asking in the class, I'm asking, okay, give me a rating of how the class is. Some of you are saying one star, some of you are 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5. Some of you are saying 0 stars. So when I'm saying the average, let's say I'm going to find the average stars, do I ignore those buggers who doesn't like my class? Do I ignore those fellows who are like 0 stars? No. I have to consider them as well. I have to consider the total amount and only the total count. I can't ignore when it's 0. Okay. Because I'm using a, you have to, because what we are doing here itself is we are going to find the range of cells. We are going to find the average range of cells. So let's say we have student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4. You can't ignore a random student. Okay. So we have to find, we include that 0 as well. Okay, so these are the two functions we can use. We can directly use the what you call average function, or in alternative, you can combine the sum and count as well. So that's there regarding the functions. Next, we have something called as a fill handle. I was actually using this throughout the what do you call throughout this worksheet. I did not specify it here, but let me show it here. So let's say I have added a, okay, I'm going to erase all these functions. I'm going to delete all these functions I have. So let's say I wrote a function here. Okay, I put equal mark here and sum open a1 to a14. Okay, so if you notice here, I'm basically getting the sum of values in this range. Okay, I'm getting sum of values in this range. So let's say in this specific cell, that means in cell B16, I want the sum of these values. And let's say in cell C16, I want the sum of values, sum of these values, sorry, sum of these values. And let's say in cell D16, I want sum of these values. In general, what will I do? The same formula I wrote here, I'll be modifying this A and I'll write here it as B. I'll write here it as C, here I'll write it as B. That's my general way. But actually, there is another shortcut you can do. There's another shortcut you can do. One of the shortcut is you can directly copy this cell. Okay. You don't copy the value here. You don't come and select this. Don't select that. Okay. Don't come and select that. Directly what you do is just click on the cell and you copy the cell. Don't copy the values in the cell. Copy the whole cell. You can copy the whole cell. Come to your next cell and you can paste it. Okay. You can paste it. So when you paste the same cell, what will happen? Automatically this A1 will become B1 and A14 will become B14. If I had copied the same values, it will not happen. Okay? If I just copy this one and paste it, it will not happen. Only because I copied the whole cell at once and pasted, it happened. So let's say I copied this and now I copied A1. Okay, I copied A1 and I'm going to paste it in C. Sorry, I copied A16 and let's say I'm going to copy paste it into C16. Hazi, why are you so hurry? Wait, will you wait? There's time. I'm coming there. Wait, let it come. Okay. If you notice, when I went and copied the A16 cell, the whole cell, okay, I didn't copy the value, I directly copied the cell. Just selected the cell, pressed on my copy, Control plus C, and come to cell C16 and push Control plus V. You notice it get modifies in such. It's showing some C1 to C14. And if I go to D cell and click on paste, it will take automatically D1 to D14. We actually call this as cell reference. You notice when you're copying a certain formula from one cell to another, okay, when you're copying a cell from one cell to another, the formula also get modifies accordingly. The formula also get modifies accordingly. How it works is when you move towards the right side or left side, basically when you move horizontally, okay, when you move horizontally, the column name will change in your cell reference, okay. When you move horizontally, the column name will change. If you go right side, the column name will be increased by 1. If you go left side, it will be decreased by 1. So earlier it was in A1. When you move one cell right side, it became B1. When you move another cell right side, it became C1. The cell reference, when you copy paste. Okay? When you copy paste, and when you copy and pasting it horizontally, the column name will change. Okay? And when you are going to move vertically, okay, when you're going to go upwards or downwards, when you're going to move vertically, the row name will change. Okay, when you're going to move vertically, what happens? The row name will change. So when you're going to go upwards, the row name will reduce by 1. And when you're going to go down, I heard your question, Fazi. I didn't still start that topic, and that is my next topic. You're going front. Okay, wait. Okay, basically when you're going upwards, it's going to reduce by 1 the row name, so not row name, row number. When you copy paste a cell, when you're going top, it reduces by 1. When you're going bottom, it increases by 1. Okay, when you're going towards upwards, it reduces by 1. When you're going downwards, the row number. So for example, let's say there is a cell in B1. Okay, there is a cell in B1. There's a value in B1. Okay, so let's say there's a formula and you have cell reference B1 there. Let's say there's a formula in cell B, let's say in cell, sorry, let's say in cell B1. Okay, in B1 you have references you have reference, let's say in cell B1 you have reference, let's say you have reference cell C16. Okay, inside cell B1 you reference cell C16. So let's say you copy this formula and paste it to cell C1. Okay, let's say you copy this formula and paste it to cell C1. Now you all tell me, when I do this kind of copy paste, okay, when I do this type of copy paste, should the reference value, okay, should in the reference value, will the column name change or will the row name change or will both the name change? Will the column name change or row value change or will both change? When I copy a formula containing the reference C16B1, if I copy it to C1, okay, from here to here, if I copy, in the reference basically, we'll say the column name change or will the row value change? Yes, what's going to be changed? The column name is going to be changed. My question was, let's say I have a formula in cell B1. Okay, let's say I have a formula in cell B1. And in that formula, if I have referenced the cell C16, let's say I have a formula in cell B1 and I have referenced a particle, reference this formula name, so reference this cell name C16. Okay, so when I copy this formula in B1 to C1, okay, when I'm copying the formula already in B1, if I'm going to copy it to C1, what happens is In the reference get modified. Okay, when the reference get modified, is the column name going to change or row number going to change? Was my question. And like most of your guessed it, what got changed? What got changed? It was the column name which got changed. How do you know the column name got changed? How do you know that column name got changed? Yes, because we are going to move horizontally. So this is B1. Okay, this is cell B1, and this is cell C1. This is cell C1. So if you are going to copy a specific value from B1 to C1, you are moving horizontally. Okay, how many steps have we moved horizontally? How many steps have we moved horizontally? It's just one step, right? It's just one step. So in that case, if I have reference cell C16 here, if I have reference cell C16 here, in this specific cell, okay, in cell C1, how will the reference be? In cell C1, how will the reference be? What is the modification the C16 will have? What it will change to? From C16 to change to what value? Yes, the column name will be changed by 1. Okay, that's going to be C16 will become what? D16. Why? I told you all, plus 1 is going to happen for what? The column. The column name is changing. Minus 1 also column. See, I told you the column name is changing. So when I'm moving from one right side to left side, it's going to be what? C16 is going to change to D16. So let's say I move from cell B. Okay, so let's say I copied the value in cell the formula in cell B1. Let's say I copied it to A1. Okay, I copied the left side. If I copy it to my left side, here what would be the reference? Here, how will the reference be? That means now you didn't hear my question properly. Here, how will my reference be? Yes. Here it will be B. My reference will change to B60. Just like that only. If you notice here, okay, when I typed here, I typed here some A1 to A14. And when I copied this formula and went and pasted to the cell C6, sorry, let's say when it pasted to the cell C16, okay, when it pasted to C16, what happened was, okay, what happened was A1 to A14 changed to C1 to C14. Okay. In this cell it was, in this cell the reference was what? In this cell the reference was A14. Okay, A1 to A14. And in this cell the reference got changed to C1 to C14. Why is that? When I copy pasted, it jumped how many cells right side? Or how many columns right side? When I copied the formula here to here, how many steps or how many columns did it jump? 2. Okay, so the column name is going to be increased by 2. So that means A is going to be C. After A you have B, after B C. So if you increase by 1 it's B, increase by 2 it's going to be C. So that's why A became changed to C automatically. Okay, A got changed to C automatically. Okay, now at the moment, let's say I am going to take this cell. Okay, let's say let me take another color, green color. Let's take this cell. Using your knowledge, or tell me what was the cell, what was the formula inside this cell. I actually copy pasted the same thing here. Okay, using your like memory, just tell me what is the formula inside this green color thing. I just copy pasted the same thing. Okay, what is the formula inside that? What was the formula inside this green color? Yes, it was equals sum A. So anyway, it was B1 to D14. That was the formula. Okay, let me click and show you again. The formula in this cell, if you notice here, it's what sum A D1 to D14. You can see it here. The top you can see here. It's what equals sum D1 to D14. Okay, because I copied the same formula here and it moved, but because 3 steps, A became D. That's how D1 to D14 came. Let's say I copied the formula and said D16. Okay. Okay, why are you so hurry, man? You think I will not do that? That's why I said you all are like so hurry. You all want to before you before you all go and brush your teeth, you all want to still go to school. So brush your teeth, have your breakfast, go get into the van, get into your transport, then you go to school. When you got up, I don't think that you have to be in school. Okay, let's go in the order, right? So let's say now you are in cell D6. Now we have a formula in cell D16. No, we have a formula in cell D16. Okay, by Fazi, can't you charge and use the phone together? Will your phone cry when you're charging and using it? Okay, so let's say you have a formula in cell D16 and you're going to copy this formula to cell D17. Okay, when you copy the formula from cell D16 to D17, okay, when you copy the formula from cell D16 D17, are we moving horizontally or are we moving vertically? When I'm copying the formula in cell C16, sorry, cell D16 to D17, okay, when I'm copying from D16 to D17, are we moving vertically or horizontally, up or down? I mean, up or right, left, up, down or right, left. Yes, they are moving vertically. They are moving what? They are moving vertically. Are we moving towards the up or towards down direction? Towards upwards direction or towards downwards direction? We are moving towards the downwards direction. In that case, how should the cell reference be? So, what is the change the cell reference is going to undergo? What is the change the cell reference undergo? Some are like plus one, minus one. But plus one, what is going to increase by one? What is going to decrease by one? Coconuts there. Amber, you think I don't know that? Like I told earlier, first of all, you brush the teeth, have breakfast, then you come to school. Why do you want to go there far? You can still come there. The copy pasting is also there in your syllabus. So you have to know this as well. We didn't still come for that. If you notice in my topic, I'm there only. Okay, if you notice my topic, in that topic only I'm there here. Okay. See, I have ticked others all. That's my seventh topic. There's time for that, right? You all have a more avasarama. I don't know how will you all manage your exams properly. Because in exam, time management is very important. You can't be hurrying everything. You have to pay attention slowly, steadily. You all, some more avasarama. I think you all do things in life was very quickly. If you are going this speed. Anyways, yes, control C is to copy, control V is to paste. Okay. So if you all notice, what happens is when you move downwards, what is being changed? The row name is being changed, and it is what? The row name is going to be increased by one. So let's copy and see, is it going to change? Okay. Is it going to change in the reference? So I'm going to copy this cell D16. Let me first of all erase all this annotation. I mean, no, let me keep the annotation and just erase only that part. Okay. So let's say I copied cell D4, D16 and pasted in cell D17. You will notice here in cell D16 it was D1 to D14, but in cell D17 it's what? D2 to D415. Has the row value changed? Has the row number changed? Hmm? Has the row number changed when you copy it top to bottom? When we copied the value, the cell in C D16, when we copied it to cell D17, did the row value change? Yes or no? Yes, it changed. Okay, the row value. Okay, I mean the cells row number changed. Here, if you notice, this row number is D1 to D14. If I go down, you see here the row number is D2 to D15. The row number has changed. The row number has increased or decreased. Here it was D1 to D14. Here D2 to D15. The row number, was it increased or decreased? Yes, it was increased. So I told her if it's going to go downwards, what happens is it gets increased by 1. Okay, that's how it works. Now at the moment, what we did is we actually did either I did right side, left side, or upwards, downwards, right? Let's say I did both. That means I copied, let's say, we clear all the drawings with you. Okay, let's say what happened was I copied the cell The value in cell A16 is there, right? Let's say I copy this A16 value and pasted it to cell B17. Okay. I copied and pasted it B17. Still I didn't paste it. Now you all tell me if I copy it from A16 and go to B17, right? If I copy it from here, let me annotate it as well. If I copy from here to this, okay, from this to this, what and what should change? Column, row, column name, row number, or both? Choose the answer out of the three. What should change? The column name, the row number, or both? What should change? Yes, both should change. Why both are changing? Because we are moving horizontally as well as we are moving vertically. We are moving horizontally as well as we are moving vertically. When we are moving horizontally, how many steps are we moving horizontally? Towards the right side now we are moving. Horizontally, how many steps? We are moving one step horizontally. And vertically, how many steps are we going downstairs? I'm downwards. Vertically downwards, how many steps we are going? They are also plus one. Okay, so let's say in cell A16, okay, let's say in cell A16, the reference was there as A12, the cell reference was A12, A14. So let's say this was the reference video, A12, A14. If the cell reference was A1 to A14, then in cell B17, which we are going to paste, slide to paste, okay? If you are going to paste it here what is the reference going to be? In cell B16, what is the reference going to be? Just the reference, the range reference. Yes, we are going to increase the column name by one and row value also by one. So that's going to be what? A1, A is going to be B. So here it's also going to be B. Here also it's going to be B. And the value of the row number is going to increase by 1. So 1 is going to be 1 plus 1. It's going to be 2. And 14 is going to be 14 plus 1, which is going to be 15. So A1 to A14 will be B2 to B15. Let's see, is that really happening? So I'm going to copy this value and I'm going to copy this. Yeah. Copy this and paste it in cell B17. And let's go to B17 and see, is that what really happened? Is that what happened? Is it B2 to B15 there? Yes or no? Yes. See how that works? That's how it works. Okay. There's one thing you have to keep you can keep in your mind is now all this time what we did is when I want a formula in one cell to another cell, when I want a formula existing in one cell, okay, if I want to move it to another cell, what I did was I did copy and paste, right? What I did was what? I did. So why B2 and not B1? Now, but didn't you see what my explanation right hand side? How did A become B? A became B because we moved towards the right side. And did we just move only right side? No. We did two things. We moved one step right side as well as we moved one step downwards. So when I moved one step right side, the column name increased. The column name changed. And when I moved downwards, the row number changed. Okay, because I copied A16 to where? To B17. It's not B16. Because B16, then your answer is correct. But because I moved to B17, okay, sorry, my answer, when I typed it here, when I wrote it here, I wrote it wrong. That should have been B17. Okay, this should be B17 basically. Okay, in B17, when I copied it to this cell, B17 cell, what happened? The column name changed by 1 and the row number changed by 1. So that's why A1 became B2 and A14 became B15. I guess now you got confused because I put 16. Is it so? All right. So now you're clear why it became B2 and not B1. Cool. Okay. Now let's come to the next part. The next thing is, now let's say I have formula in cell A1. And let's say I want to copy it to cell B1. So let's say I have a formula in A16. I want to copy it to B16. I want to copy it to C16 and I want to copy it to D16. All these time what we did was what copy paste, no? Just copy paste, control C, control V, control C, control V. Now, if you're going to ask me, instead of copy paste, okay, instead of copy paste, is there any other easy methods when you're going to move right side downwards, like when you're going to move properly? Is there any other easy method? Yes, there is. Okay, that is what we are going to do. Is this now we are going to use the what? There is something called as fill handle. Okay, there's something called as fill handle which we are going to use for that. Now, if you notice in the active cell, okay, if you notice the current active cell, in the right side bottom there is a circle here, right? Can you see it? In my active cell on the right hand down there's a small dot, okay, circle, right? We call this as the fill handle. Okay, let me show you all what we can do with the fill handle now. Okay, so let's say on my all my this one's empty. Let's say all these cells are just empty, there's nothing in it. Now earlier what I did is, if I want to copy this formula and cell A16 to the remaining cell, I copy pasted now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this. So what do you call? I'm going to click on this fill handle, and when I click, when I'm hovering over this, you will notice that my cursor was changed to the plus symbol again. Okay, my cursor is changing, right? I can click on this. Okay, I can click on this plus and drag towards my range. I want the drag towards the range. I want this formula to be copied to. So I want this formula to be copied to B1, so B16, C16 as well as D16. So I'm dragging that blue dot up to here. And when I lift my hand, you will notice automatically whatever there here was copied to here and here and here, just like how it would be when I had done copy paste. Okay, so if I do copy paste or if I use fill handle, both are going to give the same result. Okay, but when I'm going to copy paste from here to here, it's not very easy. That means now, for example, let's say I have a formula in cell A16. If I want to copy it to A17, sorry, B17, it's not easy to do with the fill handle. In that case, using the copy paste is more easy. But if I want to copy it for a multiple number of cells, then using the fill handle is easy. For example, if you had noticed, when I actually generated these random numbers, I was like lazy to type them one by one. I actually generated those numbers randomly. So if you have noticed, what I did was there is a method which I did. I'm not telling you the function I used for that, because that's basically out of syllabus for you. I used the function. I generated a value for this cell only. And after I generated for this cell, I was like using the same function, generate for the, I just copy the pasted this like that itself. Like this, I copy pasted. So when I copy pasted like that itself, it just, it just copy pasted the whole range. And keep one thing in your mind, when you're going to copy paste a cell, so when you're going to use fill handle to copy paste a formula, by default, you can either go downwards or you can go right hand side. Okay, you can either go right hand side or you can go downwards. It's not, you can't go diagonally directly. So in that case, what you do normally is, first of all, we go downwards, and after we go downwards, then we go towards the right hand side. Okay, so you notice, first of all, I selected the whole cell. I selected the first cell, clicked on this fill handle and went downwards. After that, I selected the whole range, and now the fill handle I drag towards the right hand side. Okay, so that's how basically the fill handle works. Just having a small idea of how this fill handle works is more than enough. So that's basically what we have under fill handle. Now let me talk about something called as relative cell reference and absolute cell reference. Okay, there is something called relative cell reference and absolute cell reference. Now, if you all notice here, I told you this is the cell reference, A1 to A14, B1 to B14. They are all cell reference, right? Now the thing is, all of these, when I copy paste here, what happens is the values are changing, right? Either the column name is changing or row name is changing. Let's say I'm going to do, I want one specific value to be fixed. Now, for example, let's say I'm doing a multiplication regarding area of triangle. Now, you all know area of triangle, how do you find? Half into, not area of triangle, let's say area of circle here. I want to use value of pi. Okay, let's say I'm going to use value of area of circle. So when I'm going to find area of circle, how do you find area of circle? Use pi r squared, right? Use the value of pi r squared. That's basically 22 over 7 into radius into radius. That's how we normally find. So let's say, okay, let's say we just close this annotation. Come to the next page. Okay. So let's say I have a column called radius. Okay, I have a column called radius, and I'm going to store the radius in it. Different circles radius. So I have one circle with 7 radius, another one 8, another one 5, another one 6, 3, 4, killer. I'm going to have multiple circles with different radius. Okay, I'm going to have multiple circles with different radius, and some places radius are changing. And let's say in cell B1, okay, let's say I'm going to write here the value of pi or B1. So I'll put here as pi. Okay, and then the value of pi is going to be 22 divided by 7. So now instead of taking 22 divided by 7, directly let's take 3.14. I took 3.14. Normally we can consider pi as 3.14 as well. No? Now, and let's say I'm going to have here, let's say this is going to be the area. Okay, this column is going to have the areas of each of these circles. If I want to find the value of this one's area, that is, if I want to find the value of the circle with radius 7, okay, if I want to find the area of circle with radius 7, tell me how should my formula be? Let's say I want to find the area of a circle with the radius 7 in that specific cell, in cell B2. Tell me how my formula should be. How should my formula be? Drop in the chat how the formula should be. What should be the formula I have to enter in this cell, okay, in this cell, to find the area of a circle with the radius 7. What is the formula I use? You must keep in your mind when you're mentioning some formulas, you will start with equal. Without equal symbol, you can't have formula. Yes, most of you are correct. It's going to be what? First, I'll reference the value of pi value. That's going to be where? B1. I reference B1. And then I'm going to multiply it with what? The radius. So what is radius? Is there what? A2. And it's because it's square, radius into radius, I told you earlier, it's going to be what? A2 into A2. You can either write like this, or you can also write like this as well. D1 into A2 to the power exponential 2. Okay, this is basically the exponential symbol. Exponential symbol. In your laptop, if you're having, you can number 6 will have the exponential symbol. Okay, so either you can go with, there are multiple ways. These are some of the common ways. You can either go with D1 into A2 or D1 into A2 to the power A2. So A to the power 2. A2 to the power. Okay, this is basically to the power. To the power 2. Okay, you can directly write like that as well. So let me go with the first option. Let's go with the first one. D1 into A2. Okay. Now let's say what I wrote, the formula I wrote here, I copied it here as well. I copied that formula which I had in B2. Okay. The formula I had in B2. Let's say I copied it to cell B3. I copied it to cell B3. Okay. Tell me how will the formula be in B3? Let's say this was the formula there in cell B2. Okay. I copied this formula in cell B3. So how will the formula be? I mean, how I copied the cell. I didn't copy the formula, I copied the cell. So if I copy the cell, how it will be? Okay, let me do it practically. Let's say in cell B2, I had here equals D1 into D1 into A2 into A2. Okay, I had a value here. Let me remove the annotations. So if I copy it from here to here, what will happen? What will the answer be? Let's copy and see what will happen. Okay, I'm going to copy this one to the bottom cell. If you notice, when I copy it from here to here, okay, when I copy it and paste it downwards, D1 became D2, A2 became A3. Okay, because I moved one cell downward, the row changed. Okay, the row changed. D2 became D1 became D2, A2 became A3. But in my case scenario, what I want this pi value to be constant and only this radius to change. What is my requirement? My requirement is that this should be constant. The value of pi should be constant. This should not change. This should be what you call, this should be constant. Okay, but radius should change from row to row. Okay, the radius should change. This is my requirement. Radius should change when I copy from row to row. So that means, okay, so that means, let's say this formula, the formula I have B2. In here, is my requirement to keep D1 constant or is my requirement to keep A2 constant? What is my requirement? To keep what constant? A2 or D2? D1. Hmm? What is my requirement? To keep A1, A2 constant or D1 constant? To make what? D1 constant. Okay. And in our case scenario, okay, in our case scenario, we are going to copy this formula from here. Okay, we are going to copy this formula from here and paste it here, here, because this column is only going to have the area. So I'm going to just paste all of the formulas in these. Okay. So as per my requirement, am I moving? Okay, am I moving towards? Am I moving vertically or am I moving horizontally or am I moving in both the directions? Am I moving vertically, horizontally, or both? Yes, I'm moving what? I'm moving vertically. So if I'm moving vertically, okay, if I'm moving vertically, is my column name changing or is the row number changing? Is my column name changing or row number changing? Yes, because I am moving vertically, it is the row number which is being changed. So out of these two, okay, out of the row name and column number, is it compulsory for me to keep the column name fixed or is it compulsory for me to keep the row number fixed? What should I keep fixed? I'm going to fix, to keep something by default fixed. Should I keep the column name fixed or should I keep the row number fixed here? What should I do? I'm not asking what has happened, okay? I'm saying what is the change I have to do? What is the modification I have to do? The problem is when we copy it from top to bottom, something was changing, right? So what should I keep? It should not change. Our requirement is that it should not change. It should be fixed. What should be fixed? The row name or column number? Sorry, the column name or row number? Yes, it's the row number that has to be fixed. Technically, both has to be fixed to get this value. But thing is, we are moving. Our requirement is what? Our requirement is we are moving only towards downwards. We are moving only vertically. So because we are moving only vertically, our requirement is that what the row number has to be fixed. That means D2 in D2. Okay, in D2, what should be fixed? Is it D or is it 2? Out of these two, what should be fixed? Is it D or is it 2? It is 2. Some of you are doing both. Again, I told you, what is our requirement? We make our solution for our requirement. We don't, like I told you all, you have the answers, everything in your head. But don't put everything on the paper. Answer only what is asked in the question. Make sure you have that pattern. Don't just answer whatever is there in your head. Answer what is the requirement. Here, what happens? Are we moving towards the right side? No, we are moving only vertically. So when we are moving only vertically, what has to be kept in constant? The row fixed, only the row number. Why? Because column name anyways won't change. Only the row number is going to be changed, and we don't want the row number to be changed. So in our scenario, when we copied the value in cell, when we copy the particular formula in cell B2, when we copied cell B3, what got changed? The D1 became D2. But we want it what? We want here also to be D1, here also to be D1. So when we want something to be fixed, okay, when we want something to be fixed, okay, when we want something to be fixed, what we do is in front of that, what we want to be fixed, okay, if we want something to be fixed, then what we do is in front, okay, in front, Abdullah is like it's D1. Wait, okay, Abdullah. Abdullah, just use a magnifying glass and tell me, is this D1 or is this D2? I'm not asking, ignore this, okay? Here I'm just talking about something else. You're not going with the flow. Here I put D2, that's just another reason. This is something else. You're just jumping here and it's like, I'm going and teaching one thing, I'm going for another thing. You're like, why is that D2 there? The thing is, you're not focusing here. That was some other example, okay? Let's forget about that, okay? So what normally notice that if I want to keep something in fixed in front of that, okay, let me annotate again. In front of it, add the dollar symbol. Basically, you have to add but this dollar symbol you have to add. Now here, if you notice, the cell which we have to keep in constant is what? The cell which we have to keep in constant is cell D1. Am I right? Is cell D1 the cell we are keeping constant? This is the constant cell, right? This is what I mentioned. A constant is what? D1. In this D1, when I'm copying the formula towards downwards, okay? When I'm copying this formula towards downwards from cell B2, if I'm going to copy these values, okay, if I'm going to copy this cell B2 to other cells downwards, right? If I'm going to copy this basic, if I'm going to copy this towards downwards, okay, if I'm going to copy this cell B2 to B3 and B4 and okay, B4 and then let's say B6 flat. If I'm going to copy them towards downwards, do I want to keep this D constant? Okay, should I keep my let's put another color. Yeah, should I keep D constant or should I keep one constant? What should be constant here? In this case scenario, when you're copying it from down, when you're copying this, okay, when you're copying here, whatever is there inside this cell, when you're copying downwards, okay, in that cell we have reference as D1 now. So do I want to keep D1 fixed or so D fixed or 1 fixed? What should be fixed? Should the D be fixed or 1 be fixed when I'm copying towards downwards? Again, Nachman or some people are saying it's both. I told you all, don't answer whatever is there in your head. Answer the question. Okay. When you move downwards, obviously the column name is not going to be changed. Then why should you keep it? Why should you do any modification for it? Obviously, the column name is not changing. You all know, right? When we are moving horizontally, vertically, only the row number is being changed. So only if the row number is being changed, then what has to be kept fixed? Just the row number. Only one should be kept fixed. We can keep both fixed, that's fine. But what is the minimal requirement is the question. The minimal requirement is what? Keeping one fixed. So if I want to keep one fixed, should I add the dollar symbol before D or should I add the dollar symbol before one? Because I mentioned it in front of it, you add the dollar symbol, right? Should I add the dollar symbol like this? Should it be like D1 or should it be D$1? Yes, it should be before one. Basically, it should be like this. Why? Because we want to keep the one constant. Okay, we want to keep the one constant. But keep in your mind, like most of you are told, another way we can write is we can mention $D$1 as well. We can keep the column constant as well. This is also possible. But that's not a requirement. At the moment, in this scenario, that is not a requirement. In this scenario, we are moving only downwards. So because we are moving only downwards, because that is not a requirement, I am going to ignore this and stick with this $1. Okay. So let me clear all the drawings and do a small modification for this cell B2. Instead of making D1, I'm going to add the dollar symbol here. Okay, $1, $1. Now what I'll do is use the fill handle. Let me copy this formula for the remaining cells as well. Now am I getting 0? Now is the D1 being changing? See, is the D1 being changing in each cells? Is the D1 changing? No, D1 is not changing. See, when I put the dollar symbol, when I copy pasted the formula, it did not get changed. Okay, when I copy paste the formula or when I field handle using field handle when I drag the formula, what happened is dollar $D1 became constant, others got changed. Did you all notice it? So let's say I copied this formula from here. If I copy it to right side, you all will notice D1 became E1. Okay, D1 became E1. So we can use this for all formulas. No, we can't. We can't use this for all formulas. Let's say in the question, if they are given pi here, 3.14, 3.14. Let's say for this question, what do you call, for this circle, they ask you to use the radius as 3.15. For this, they ask you to use 3.13. For this, they ask you to go for 3.14. If they're going to have like this, okay, if they're going to have like this, then you can't use that formula, right? Then you can't use that formula. Because why? The values are being changed. Only when a value is fixed, we can use the dollars. So for all the formulas we create, we don't add the dollar. Okay? We add the dollar symbol only when our requirement. You see the requirement, okay? First of all, you check the requirement. As per the requirement, if we want to keep a column fixed, okay, if we want to keep the column fixed or column name fixed, then what we do is we add dollar. Let me directly do the dollar symbol. We add the dollar symbol front of column name. Okay. If our requirement is the column name should be fixed. If our requirement is the row number should be fixed. Okay. If our requirement is a row number should be fixed, then what we do is we add the dollar symbol front of the row number. Okay. We add front of the row number. And if we want both to be fixed, if you want both the column name, row number, both should be fixed, then what we do is we add dollar in front of both. We add the dollar symbol in front of row. It all your decision is based on what? Your decision to add whether it's dollar here, should I add the dollar front of column or dollar front of row number or front of both is based on what? It's all based on the requirement. Based on your requirement, you're going to decide, should I add the dollar symbol front of the column name or should I add the name symbol front of the row name number? Okay. And we call this type of reference, for example, now we have here is dollar D, okay, dollar, sorry, we have, in our formula we have it as D $1 into A2 into A2. That's how we had it now. We call this reference as absolute reference, and we call this kind of reference as, okay, we call these types of references as just normal cell reference. Okay, so if you notice here, I given you as absolute, so relative reference. We call this as, my mistake, we call this as what? Relative reference. Did you all get, I got the idea of the difference between relative reference and absolute reference? Note that in absolute reference, there will be a dollar symbol. So did you all get the idea of the difference between a relative reference and absolute reference? Yes, cool. So let's, I mean, that's only that much is there regarding. So if it is D $1, it's absolute. Yes. Whenever there is dollar symbol being used, that's going to be absolute. And we have something called row absolute cell difference, column absolute cell difference, row and column irrelevant. So if you notice here in the tutor I given you, there's something called as relative cell difference. There's something called as relative row absolute cell difference, column absolute cell difference, and row and column absolute. In general, we can call all of these three as absolute. Anyways, but also you can specifically tell. So here row is absolute, here you can say column is absolute, and here you can say both row and column absolute cell difference. you can specify like this as well. Okay, so that's there regarding the relative and absolute cell difference. The charts and formatting, let's go with the flow with the questions and see how it's going to be done. Okay, so I'll do the 2016 MCQ with you all. So you all know, if you all know, actually in your oral paper, normally around 3 to 5 MCQs and then a 10-mark question you will get on this chapter. So I'll do around 1 or 2 MCQs and 1 or 2 oral papers MCQ, like 2016 and 2019, okay, or 2020, 2 years. Or I'll do 2016 and 2021 MCQs and 2016 2021 part 2 paper. And you all are going to do alone the remaining questions. So let's start with the 2016 MCQ questions, right? So here they have asked, question 25 and 26 are based on the given spreadsheet segment. Which of the following will appear in cell C3? So they're talking about cell C3, which is basically this cell C3. Okay. If the formula equals count A1 to B3 is entered to cell C3. Okay. Equals count A1 to B3. So where is A1? A1 is here. B3 is here. Okay. They're going to count these cells. Okay. There's one thing I missed to tell you all. When we're talking about count function, okay, apart from count, there is something called count A as well. There's something called as count A as well. I'll show you all that here. Okay. So let's say I put here equals count. You'll notice there's something called count, count A, D count, count if, D count A, blah, 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 blah. There's several types of count. But as per your syllabus, you have count and count A. I missed to tell this earlier. There's something called as count A as well. So if I put count A here, what it will do is, it will count the, like mentioned here, well, let me go down, it will count the number of values in a data set. Okay. So basically, it will ignore the empty space. Let's see whether it's included in empty space. So I put count A and I'm going to take this range. So in that range, there is basically 11 cells. Okay. You notice in this range, so here I'm using count A, and here let me use count function here. So let me put equal count and select this range A1 to A1 to A12. At the moment, it's showing the count as okay. Sorry, it's here also. It's for count and count A. At the moment, it's showing same. That is because there's a small issue in the data type. So if I mention here the data type as format, this is not relevant for all. Okay. Now, if you notice here, there are 11 cells in this range. Okay, there are 11 cells in this range. But even though there are 11 cells, let me add another empty cell as well. So let me add a. Okay. So let me add another empty cells and update this to 13. A12. Let me change it to A13. Here also let me change this to A13. Right. If you notice here, in this range, okay, in this range, there is 12 cells. There are how many cells? There are 12 cells. Out of these 12 cells, there is actually 10 cells with numbers, one cell with letters or words, and one cell empty. One cell empty. Keep in your mind that when you are using count function, okay, when you're using count function, it only finds the count of, okay, count of cells containing numbers. It finds what? The count of the cells containing numbers. If there was 0, it will consider 0 as a number as well. But if there is empty, it will not consider empty as 0. Empty is different, 0 is different. Okay. If there is 0, it will consider 0 as a number. But when it's empty, it will ignore that. So count function, if you notice, we put a count, we got it only 10. But you notice there are 12 rows here, sorry, 12 cells here. Out of 12 cells, only 10 cells has numbers. So because only 10 cells has number, here we got as 10. And by using count A, we got 11. That is because when you're using count A function, it counts the non-empty cells. Okay, basically the cells which are not empty. So if you notice, out of these 12 cells, only 11 cells are not empty. So it will give you the total count of 11. Whether it has numbers, letters, symbols, that doesn't care. It will basically give you the count of the number of cells containing values. It can be a number, it can be a letter. Okay, keep that in your mind. There's two functions. One is count A. Count will count only the number of numbers, cells contain count of number of cells contain numbers, and count A will check the number of cells containing non-empty cells. That's why we got here two different answers. Now 11 and 10, we got two different answers. Did you all get it? Did you all understand this? Yes. Okay. So based on that knowledge, tell me, okay, when we have here a function equals count A1 to B3, the question has given what? Equals count A1 to B3, no? When we have this function here equals count A1 to B3, you all tell me out of this range, which I have highlighted in blue color, what is the value we are going to get? What is the value you are going to get? So count function, I told you, will give the count of the cells containing numbers only. So how many cells out of this is contain numbers only? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have how many the answer is going to be? It's going to be 5. Right? Do you all know why? Even though there are 6 cells here, we took 5 only. Why? Because only 5 cells have numbers. So answer is going to be 5. Okay. If you have any questions on why, I mean, if you have any questions regarding that, you can drop in the chat. I'll be going with the flow for the next question. So if you have anything, just drop in the chat. So I'll again come back to that. Okay. Let's see the next question. The cell A3. So where is A3? It's going to be Akim is like, if the question is count A, the answer is 6, right? No, Akim. That means you can focus on my previous one. Akim is like, if count A. Again, look at this and tell me, in count A, did I get 11 or did I get 12? Even though in between A2 to A13, in this range, if you count and see, there is 12 cells. I told you, if you can remember, count A contains, if you like saw what I wrote as well, I said count A contains the count of the non-empty cells. Count of what? Count of non-empty cells. Okay, it will ignore the empty cells. You can't count empty cells. That's how it works, right? So here, if you notice, if you use count also, if you use count A, in both the case, we will not get 6. We'll get only 5. Clear, right? Cool. Right, let's go for the question then. We have cell A3. So this is going to be A3. They're saying cell A3 contains a formula equals sum $A1 to A2, right? Which of the following will appear in cell B3 if this formula is copied to cell B3? Okay, so they're telling if this formula from A3 is copied to B3, they're asking what will the value be in cell B3? Okay, before we go for the value in cell B3, tell me how will the formula be there in cell B3? Tell me in cell B3, what will be the formula when I copy and paste it here? When I copy this formula from cell A3 and paste it to cell B3, how will my formula be? Yes. As usual, equal will be there, sum will be there, $A2. I told you all we put the dollar sign in front of what we want to keep fixed. So if we keep the $A, that means the column is going to be fixed. A is not going to be changed. A is going to be fixed. So $A1 will be as it is when we are moving from left side to right side, when we are moving vertically. Yeah. Sorry, when we are moving horizontally, sorry. When we are moving horizontally, I told you all what the column name will change. And here what happens is we have told here to keep A fixed. That means to keep the column fixed. So A1 will be there as it is. $A1 is going to be there as it is. And then A2 is going to be what? A2 is going to change to B2. Okay. If you can exactly remember, when we are moving horizontally, okay, when we are moving horizontally, the column name changes. Okay. But when we have the dollar symbol, okay, the value next to column symbol, value after the column symbol, dollar symbol will be fixed. Okay. The value after will be fixed. So here after dollar we have A. So therefore A is going to be fixed even though the column name changes. Here the column name doesn't change because A is being fixed. Only the second A2 is going to be changed to B2. Did you all understand this? How did it come? Those who didn't get this answer, some of you got different answers, right? So I will clear with why it's A1 to B2 and not B1 to B2. I will clear with it. Cool. So any questions? Let me know. Right. Now let's see what the answer is going to be. So it's going to be sum A1 to B2. So let's see what's the range of A1 to B2. A1 to B2. That's basically this range, which I have encircled red color. Okay. Can you explain again? Once more left turn, okay? So what happened here was, if you really notice in the previous part, which I was explaining, I had a formula in cell A3 and I copy pasted it to cell B3, right? I told you earlier, when we copy paste a formula or function or whatever, basically a formula, right? Function is also, when we copy paste a formula, if we are going to move horizontally, okay, if we are going to move horizontally, then the column name will change. And I told you if you are going to move vertically, okay, if you're going to move vertically, then I told you the row name will be changed. But I gave you all an exception. I gave you a small exception. I told you all that if there is a dollar symbol in front of any of it, okay, if the dollar symbol is there front of, let's say, if it's there front of the column name, then the column name is fixed. If it's there front of the row name, row number, then the row number will be fixed. And if it is there front of both the column name and row number both, then both will be fixed. There won't be any changes. This will not, okay, changes mean these changes I'm talking about, okay? These changes are not going to be affected, right? So because here we moved vertically and here if you notice, sorry, horizontally, and if you move horizontally, technically the column name should change. But here, because dollar was there front of A, this column name will not change, but this column name will change. So this A1 will be as is as A1, but this A2 will become B2. Hope you understood that, right? So when we have this new one, A1 to B2, that's basically the range which I have mentioned here, red color, right? So what's the sum of this? Use your mind calculation. Tell me what is the sum of what should be the total answer of A1 to B2? So $A1 to B2. What should be the answer? 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. So the correct answer is going to be how much? It's going to be 12. The correct answer is going to be 12. Any questions there? Why A3 is not including? You see our formula. In our formula, we have specified A1 to B2. I told you all, when you are specifying a range, okay, when you are specifying range, in a range, there will be two values, X and Y. Let's take a look. The first value is going to specify the left side topmost cell. If you were listening to me earlier, you will notice. This is going to specify the left topmost cell. And the right side value is specifying the right side bottom. So here A1 is what? This. B2 is what? This. So the range is going to be from here to here. That is basically A1, B1, A2, B2. Only this. So on the one after dollar change. Refer this and ask me again. Ask me that question. Refer this box and again ask me that question. Why will one not change? When we move horizontally, will the row number change? That one is a row number. No? When we move horizontally, we move from A3 to B3. That's a horizontal movement. No? When we move horizontally, is the row number changing? No. I told her only the column name is changing. So there's one me in the column name. The column name is A. The row number is 1. Okay. So by default, the row number doesn't change. Did you get it? Who asked me the question? Cool. So I'll do the 2021 paper as well, 2021 MCQ. And then I'll start the part 2. Okay. So here they have said, consider the following spreadsheet segment with 4 components labeled as PQRS. Like I told you all, I didn't today teach you all about what you call, what are these stuff skill. I didn't teach you all specifically. Some I taught you all, but not everything. I told you all reference the first few pages I have mentioned you all the layout, the interface. So you can reference that and study the interface. But normally with practice, you will automatically know what are these pieces names, you will automatically know. Okay. So basically here what we are doing is we are to find out what is PQRS respectively. So let's start off with, okay, if you're going to start off with all of this, easily you can tell what is P going to be. Okay, but sometimes you might have the confusion. So you go out of all these, what is the easiest? If you're going to ask me what is my easiest, obviously my easiest is going to be the sheet name, the S. Okay, the sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, they are the names of the sheets. No, you go and see out of the given answers, what are the answers which has sheet tabs? Okay, that's the sheet tabs, no sheet name, sheet tabs, all are fine. You notice this one has sheet tabs, this one has sheet tabs. So by default, the second one is going to be wrong, and the fourth one is going to be wrong. Easily you can, it's like you're playing Lakshapati, this is Lakshapati, you have the 50-50 offer. No, when you're playing Lakshapati, 50-50. So you easily omit the second one and the fourth one. So either answer, now you get the idea. The answer is going to be either the first one or third one. Next, you see what's your next most easiest one. Actually, for me, all three are easy or four easy. But if you're going in general, most of the people, next one is more easy. Is obviously the column name, right? Because I told you A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This range is what? That's the column name. So let's see which one has specified R as column name. So R should be P, Q, R. The order is like PQR is no. The order is P, Q, R, S. So we already found S. Now let's see R. R is one before the R. Let's see out of these, which has column name as R. Okay, out of the ones we shortlist, 1 and 3. Does one have column name in R? Does the first answer has column name in R position? Answer the question. I know that you all have the answer in your head. But my question is what? Answer that. Does the first one has R? Does the first one has column name in the R position? No. The next short listed one he has third one. Does the third one has column name in the third R position? Column heading as R. Yes, the third one has. So directly we can easily say that the answer is going to be third. So without finding the remaining, just finding two answers itself, I was able to figure it out. You can go in any order you want. Okay, whatever order you want, you can go. If you have another order as well, you know, A1 is what? A1 is name box. Q is what? So P is what? P is name box. Q is what? Q is the formula bar. That's basically name in the interface. You can go in any format you want, but make sure you go through the first few pages of this cube to or your textbook or whatever you want for you to know what does each of these mean. There's nothing big there. Let's go for the next question. Consider the following segment of a mark sheet entered into electronic spreadsheet to answer question number 13 and 14. Okay. What is the correct formula to be entered in cell E2? Okay, we are correct in cell E2. To calculate the total marks obtained by Sahan. If I want to calculate the total marks obtained by Sahan, then tell me what is the formula I have to write here. What do you all think is the answer? 1, 2, 3 or 4? What do you all think is the answer? First one, second one, third or fourth? Okay, let's see is your answers correct. Will you? If I want to find the total, basically I have to add these values. So if you notice all my answers, none of my answers are using the sum function. They're using the formula properly. So let's see. So to find the total, the first value I need is okay, let's see what are the values we need to find the total. I need this value, Sahan's total marks. To find Sahan's total marks, I need his ICT marks, I need his maths marks, and I need his religion marks. Total, I need 3 marks. So we have to write our formula starting with equal symbol. After you write the equal symbol, we have to specify the first cell I want. So let's say I want B2. The order is not important. You can specify C2 as well first, not a big deal. B2 plus C2 plus D2. So if you notice, out of all of the answers we have, the correct answer which has that answer is this B2, C2, D2. Okay. Some of you were saying the third one is the correct answer. I told you earlier, we don't start a formula with like this, with a cell reference. We never start a formula with something E2, with letter. We start a formula with what? The equal symbol. So from directly you can say all three are wrong. If you don't, even if you think you don't know the answer, even if you don't know the answer directly, you can tell all three are wrong because none of the three answers are starting with equal symbol. Only this is starting with equal symbol, right? Simple. Okay, if there's anyone who has any questions, let me know. What will be the value displayed in cell A7? So whereas let's say A7, okay. If the formula equals count A1 to D5 equals count A1 to D5, use a different color, equals count A1 to D5. They're asking what will the correct answer be if I for this range of cells. What do you think is the correct answer? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Out of these, what do you think is the correct answer? Okay, I'm getting different answers. Let's see. I have one value here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 cells containing numbers. I told you earlier as well. Unknown caller. Sorry. I told her earlier as well. Okay. The cells containing numbers, if you count and see, there are only 10 cells. Okay. Other cells all have letters. And I told her earlier as well, the count functions count only numbers. It doesn't count letters or empty cells. So in this range, the cells contain numbers are only, there are only 10 cells. So answer is going to be the first one, which is going to be 10. I hope that's clear, but if you have any questions, you can ask. So yeah, with that, we are over with the 2021 MCQ questions. Let's start the part 2, 2016's part 2, right? The given spreadsheet segment shows the distribution of monthly tea prices. Okay, it's showing the distribution of monthly tea prices for the year 2015. Okay. Use the above spreadsheet segment to answer. So you are going to reference this and only answer questions. A formula of the form equals function 1, cell 1, cell 2 is written in cell B16. Where is B16? It's here. To calculate and display the average price of tea for the year 2015. Write down relevant terms for function 1, cell 1, cell 2. So basically you tell what does, here the question is not asking you to write the formula. Here the question is asking you to write the function as well. That is asking you in this question, what does function 1 mean? What does cell 1 means? And what does cell 2 means? Like I told you earlier, you might have the answer in your head. Don't just put it out. Don't write okay equals and write your separate functions, open brackets, blah blah blah. Don't write it. Why? That is not what the question asked. Always make sure you answer what the question asks, not what you have in your head, because your head you have unwarranted everything. So make sure you read your question properly. And here they're asking what? To write down the relevant terms for function 1, cell 1, cell 2. As per this scenario, you all tell me, looking at this, tell me, what do you think function 1 should be? What do you think function 1 should be? What do you think the function 1 should be? Some of you are giving function name as B3. I have never heard a function called B3. Some of you are giving divide by 5 as a function name. What a name. You're talking about the function one, na? Function one is the name of the function. Yes. The name of the function which we are going to use here is what? Average. There is no function called AVG, so don't tell AVG. Okay, the function which we are going to use here is what? Average. Why is it get typed? Yes, okay. The function here used is average. Some of you have specified sum function, some of you have specified count function. I told you earlier, sum function we use to find the total amount. Count function we use to count the number of cells. The word sum, the word count itself has the meaning of those words. It's not very hard as well. And the word average is used to find the average. Okay, so if our formula has to be in this order, if our formula has to be in this manner, equals function 1, cell 1 to cell 2, then our function 1 should be what? Average. We can't use sum, we can't use count. If we use sum, it will find the number of, it will find the total values. If you use count, it will find the number of cells contain numbers. So we divide it by the number of cells, right? So one count come. Nahma, you are not answering the question. That's why I said you read the question. The question has specified how the function should be. See the green color part. The function should be in this order, this manner. So if our answer should be if our function should be in this manner, then what does function one mean? What does cell one mean? What does cell two mean? It's like you're using a variable here. What the idea? They've already told how the formula should be. Only thing is like filling the blanks. You have to just swap the values. What should function? You will replace what does function mean. You will replace the cell one and you will replace the cell two. That's what they're asking basically. So like most of your guessed, function one should be average. Correct. What does cell one should be? When I ask what does cell one should be, you all give me a range of cells. Not a philosophy. And when I ask cell one, some of you are getting cell one is this, cell two is this. So answer the question asked. When cell answer the question asked. What does cell one should be? I'm getting two answers. Some of you are saying cell one should be B3. Some of you are saying cell one should be B4. Again, I'm telling, don't put whatever is there in your head. Put whatever, and some of you are giving me answers. Well, 300 and blah blah blah. Actually, give me answer. But I said, don't put whatever is there in your head. Put whatever is the question asked. Here is the question asking anything about 2014's value. This is 2014's value. B3 contains 2014 value, but we want to find the average price of 2015's. That means it should start from 2015 January, cell number 4, and go till 2015 December. That's why I said you are not focusing on the question. Read the question. Don't read but put everything in your head. That's how you'll easily lose marks. This is a very easy question. Damn easy question. One mistake you will do is you'll directly write the answer equals average open brackets cell 1 values and you'll do that. That's one mistake you'll do. Second mistake you'll do is you'll read the question. Here are they asking about 2014 value? No. They're asking only about 2015's average. So when you're talking about 2015 average, you'll start from January and go to December only. You have to just go through this range only. This range only. So in that case, tell me what should C1 be? So cell 1 be? What should cell 1 be? Yes, cell 1 should be B4. And what should cell 2 be? What should cell 2 be? Yes, cell 2 is going to be B15. Cell 2 is going to be B15. Right? Because we are checking only 2015's range, B15. So your answer is going to be something like this. Function 1 is average, cell 1 is B4, cell 2 is B15. If you like a Pandita fellow go and write equals average B4 to B15, directly they'll put a wrong. Sometimes your school teachers, if it's a school exam, your school teacher pavam no and give my marks. All lema pavam mokut balanne kelingma you don't follow the rules, no marks. That's how it works. Not only for ICT, any subject, all the subject. If you don't answer what they ask, they think they are a pandit and they don't give you marks. They think you are a parichi or everything. You actually read the question what they are asking. That's why I say you read the question properly and answer what they are asking without unwantedly losing marks. Right? This is how your order of answers should be. So the first question is done. Let's go for the second one. If you don't follow the rules will follow you. So, anyways, price difference of average monthly price for the month of December is calculated as follows. So we can find, they are saying to find the price difference, they're going to use an ideology of where they're going to say is the price difference of December. Okay, the price difference of December is going to, you can find the price difference of December by using the price of December minus the price of November. Okay, so if I want to find the price difference of this month, I have to first of all use this month's value and subtract the last month's value. So they are given the logic already. This is basically what the logic we have to use. So they have actually given the logic directly. So you don't have to think too much even. So this is basically the logic you have to follow. Okay. A formula of the form equals function 2 cell 3 cell 4 is written in cell C15. So let's go and see where cell C15. In cell C15, to find the price difference for December 2015. Okay. Write down the relevant terms for function 2, cell 3, cell 4. Here also same thing. They don't want you to write the whole function. They just want you the relevant terms for them only. So here also you're going to mention like the same order. What does function 2 means? What does function cell 1 mean? And so what does function 2 mean? What does cell 3 means? And what does cell 4 mean? You can directly write your answer. Okay. Look at this spreadsheet and tell me what do you think function 2 should be? By looking at this spreadsheet, tell me what do you think function 2 should be? Actually, there is a small mistake in this question, right? But you can with that mistake also you can there is a loophole to do this question. I'll tell you the loophole here. The function 2 is going to be sum. Okay. I'll tell you how do we use sum function here. There's a different perspective we can use sum function here. Okay. Function 2 is going to be sum. What is this cell 3 going to be? What is this cell 3 going to be? What is cell 3 going to be? Yes, cell 3 is going to be B15. What is cell 4 going to be? What do you think cell 4 is going to be? That's going to be B14. But there's a small modification. It's not going to be just B14. I'll show you all in the spreadsheet. So let's say I have here value 10. Here I have the value 2. Okay. Let's say I want to get here the answer as 10 minus 2. That's the answer I want to get to this cell. Okay. Okay. And below this cell, I want to get here the value of 10 minus 2 using sum function. I can write like this the sum function as well. Equals sum E4 to open brackets Okay. When you want to, so if you want to find the difference, I should use some function. Abdul Qadir, come to your point. Wait. Okay. I come to your point. Wait. Right. One way you can use some functions like this. You can use some function like this. Always in some function, you don't have to use a to symbol. You can use a comma symbol as well. In like this, equals sum e4 to minus f4. You can use in this form, but this is not the most suitable form. Okay, keep in mind that this is not the most suitable form. The most suitable form is there's another function called difference. There's actually another function that's not sticking to my mind. It's called difference. I'm not exactly getting the sum. There is no function called minus. Okay, but the most suitable way to write this form, what do you call, if you're writing if you're going to use the sum function, is this. As per your syllabus, you have to use basic answers in your syllabus. No, actually, that question was comparatively unfair. The only method where how we can use a subtraction is this. The problem is, okay, if I'm going to write in that way, if I'm going to write my answer in that way, the only problem I'll get is if I write in equal some function to cell 3 cell 4, if I write in this way, the only issue which I'm going to get is I can't use this to symbol. So because of that, technically you will be getting 3 marks for this question. Technically you're supposed to get 3 marks because the question is not perfect. Okay, because the question is not perfect, you get 3 marks. Another thing is there are separate functions you can use, but as per your syllabus, you have only a couple of functions which you'll learn, and you all are supposed to stick with them. So because you all are supposed to stick with those functions only, you can't go out of some min, max, count, average. You can't go out of those functions. So therefore, you'll have to go in this order. Sum is what, B15 is what, B40. So if those who wrote the answers like this, mostly they got marks. Those who didn't write any of these, I think they didn't get the marks. Okay. But the most suitable way you can write is you can write like this and specify. You can like specify it like this as well, how I did here. Okay. The most suitable way is to write instead of just B14, you can just specify it as minus B14, or you can mention the minus here. I mention the minus inside brackets. Okay. The most suitable way you can mention this is like this. Okay, you can specify like this. Only thing is you can't use colon symbol, you have to use the comma. I'll show you how it will work with colon symbol as well. So instead of comma, if I use colon symbol, you notice I will be getting a error. Okay, I'll be getting an error because this has to be a range. You can't have a range with minus. Okay, you can't have a range with minus. That's the only issue. So because of that, you can't go with that answer. Okay, so we will go with a different answer. So here the answer is, if you wrote this some B15 before, you will get the marks. But in general, they're supposed to give 3 marks to this question as the question is not proper. Okay. Next question, let's go for. What would be the formula displayed in cell C4? Okay, what would the formula be in cell C4? So let's see why cell C4. This is cell C4. Okay, what would be the formula in cell C4? If the formula in cell C15 is copied to cell C4. So if basically this formula is copied here, what will be the answer they are asking? Previous question we found what does cell C15 have? We found, okay. We found it in the Roman number 1. In Roman number 1 question, we found the formula for the cell C1, so cell C15. We found it here, right? Average B4, B15. But average, so here in the row number 2, Roman number 2, we found the answer. So they're asking if this was found, okay, if this was brought up to, if the cell C15 is brought to cell C4, what would be the answer? So here you can correctly mention equals sum. In brackets, you can mention B15 comma B14 minus B14. Okay, B15 comma. Actually, I don't have to write the brackets. Why do I put the brackets? I have to remove the brackets. I don't have to specify the brackets. Okay, so you can directly write here equal sum B15 comma B14. You will get the marks. Okay, but because this question was wrong, I'm supposed to give 3 marks for this as well. So in that case, the 2016 flows lucky. But depends on the paper marking person as well. Sometimes they feel like this person has not written anything. Okay, they can ignore it. I wrote this under the wrong question. It should come the Roman number 3 part. So I write it here Roman number 3. Roman number 3 is going to be equal sum B15, not B15. Okay, here only it was B15 now. So here B15, when it comes here, what is going to be? If here you are using B15, here it's going to be what? When I copy to cell C4, what should the cell reference be? B15 will be changed to what? Okay, in this cell it was B15 and also it was minus B14. These were the two answers now. When it comes to cell C4, B15 will become how much? Yes, B15 will become B4 and B14 will become B14 will become. Yes, B14 will become B3. Okay. So here you notice 15 becomes how much cells you go upwards, it's going to get subtracted. So 15 will become 4 and 14 will become 3. Because if you notice here, the cell numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From 5 jump into 14. That's why they mentioned like a thunder symbols because they are what they are meaning that is within that range they have like hidden certain rows. That's what they are meaning there. Some rows are hidden here is what they mean here. Okay. So the answer is going to be B15 will be changed to B4 and B14 will be changed to B3. So this is going to be our answer. Even though the question is stupid, that's how it's going to be for Roman number 3. Let's go for the next one, the Roman number 4. What would be the most suitable, name two appropriate chart types available in spreadsheet software to show the variation in average monthly price of tea for the year 2015. So if I want to see the variation, if I want to see like a variation between each year properly, what do you think is the most suitable chart type? Now we have several charts, okay? I'll show you that picture again earlier. Okay, we have multiple type of chart. What do you think is the most suitable chart type for this? Give me multiple answers. Give me all the answers, okay? Can we use all 5? So I'll call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think? Can we use all 5 or only 3 or only 2 or only 1 or only 5, only 4, only 3, only 2, only 1? What do you think we can use? Actually, the most suitable one is we can use 1, we can use 2, we can use 3, we can use, yeah, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the most suitable is 1, 2, 3. And out of the 1, 2, 3, the most suitable is 1 and 3. Why? Because I want to see a variation, like how is my ups and downs in the past year. From January to December, I want to see how is that's my requirement, right? How is my performance? So if it's a column bar chart like this, is it easy for me to see it? Up to down, is it easy for me to see like when it's like up to down, when it's something like this? When it's something like this, is it easy for me to see? No. When it's like this, it's very hard for me to see the variations, even though it's clear as per graphically. When you're seeing from your eyes perspective, it's not very easy to see. The most suitable, easy method you can easily see, like when you're going to see directly, if you're going to get idea, the easiest one is going to be 1 and 3. That is in the first look itself, you'll notice, okay, there was a high peak, then low peak, then Kana peak, average peak, you can easily see the peak. The line chart and bar column chart, you can easily see it. But bar chart is very hard because it's like like a wire. I mean, it's like those people's hair. It's so hard to see the variations in the first look. Can one be used in all questions? Depends on the question. Depends on the requirement. Told you all, you don't answer whatever is there in your head. Answer what the questions. I'm, I think, repeating this for the hundredth time. Make sure that when you ask answering a question, okay, whether it's a direct question or a paper question, whatever question, you answer the requirement. If someone comes and asks you where is the what do you call grade 5 class, will you go and show the grade 7 class? Just because you know the grade 7 class and you don't know where the grade 5 class is. You don't answer this whatever you know. If you don't know grade 5 class, okay, I don't know where the grade 5 class. Openly tell. For that, don't go and show where the grade 7 class just because you know it. Right? So normally when answering these questions, you have to make sure that you answer the question that is being asked, not what you know. So here if you notice, as per our requirement, column chart and line chart is the most suitable. So I'll write my answer there as column. They asking two appropriate charts now. Column charts and line chart. And if I'm going to go for the next one, Roman number 5, here what we're asking is, what would be the cell range or what cell range would you use for the horizontal axis to draw the charts in your answer, Roman? From this itself, you have to get that. If someone wrote pie chart in the Roman number 4, from here you have to get the idea that his answer is going to be wrong. In pie chart, do you have horizontal axis, vertical axis? No, right? You just have a circle. In circle, where is the horizontal axis? There's no axis, right? It's just basically the portions or sectors. There's only sectors in a circle. So if you wrote pie chart by mistake, even here it's going to get the idea that a pie chart will not come here. No, okay. So here they are asking what range would you use for the horizontal axis. So we have this is basically the horizontal axis, and this is the vertical axis. Okay. Horizontal axis normally we call as x. Vertical axis we normally call as y. Okay. This is the horizontal. This is the vertical. Looking at this question and looking at the requirements and all specified, you all tell me if you want to show the variation of average monthly prices. Okay. For T, if you want to show the average monthly prices, what do you think should be there in the horizontal plane? What do you think should be there in the horizontal plane? For to show a proper variation. The horizontal plane, what should be there? I'll make your answer more easy. Is it going to be month or is it going to be price? Month name or price? Month or price? Month or price? The horizontal axis, what should be there? That means here, what normally if you mention here, but what should be mentioned here? The month name or the price? Yes, the month name has to be specific. And vertical axis, we are going to specify price. Then only we can get idea. Like, if we have the chart like this, we have proper idea that, okay, this is going to be the month. Okay, so basically this is be like Jan, Feb, March, April, and this is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40. I mean the specific price. I'm just using random values here, but here only you have proper variation. If this month was in a side, it will be like a bar chart. It is basically not very suitable. Okay, so because I told my answer is column chart and line chart, in both the case scenarios, for the horizontal axis, it's better if I can use the month. Now, some of you are asking, what about year? Look at this table and see, have they given the name as month or have they given the name as year? Or have they given as month year? What is the label used here? I told you again, you don't answer whatever is there in your head. You answer what the question is specified. So has the specified question specified here as month or has they specified as year? Yeah, so have the question asked about that? Normally, again, I'm telling you, answer the question. Make sure you're answering the question, not what you know. So here what they're asking, what cell range would you choose for the horizontal axis? Draw the charts here. Wait, another thing. The question is asking what? The cell range. So basically, first of all, I asked you all what should be chosen here, whether it's the month or the year. That was my first question. So month or the price. That was my first question. Now let's come for the cell range. Okay. Here they're talking about the cell range to for the relevant for the Roman number 4 question. The Roman number 4 question they're asking about 2015 specifically. If you want to see the monthly price of tea for the year 2015. So in that case, you all tell me, you all already told me it's going to be month, right? You all already told me it's going to be month. Now you all tell me what is the sale range for the month which we are going to choose. If I want to find the Particularly if I want to find the ratio regarding 2000, if I want to analyze 2015's T distribution, what is the cell range I have to select here? Now all of you are told it's month. So in month, what is the cell range? Yes, because we are going to deal things regarding 2015, the cell range is going to be A4 to B15. Why? Because A3 is relevant to 2014 and not 15. So that's why we're going to ignore that and be fixed with A4 only. So the answer is going to be A4 to A15. Okay, A4 to A15. Should I write here the equal symbol? No, but that's not necessary. You can ignore that. That's a mistake. Mistake means the question has issue with that. So you don't have to worry about that. But anyways, is it specific? I mean, is it necessary for me to mention the brackets or else equal symbol? No. Why? Because this is not a formula. This is basically a cell range. Cell range, we directly have to mention the values. Now you all tell me, looking at these questions, were they easy or hard? Were the questions regarding spreadsheets easy or hard? It's actually very easy. Only thing is you have to answer what is being asked and not what you have in your head. Not everything what you have in your head. Only if you answer what the question asks, you can get marks. Okay. So if you go to the questions, you'll know it's actually very easy once you know the stuff. It's easy if you read the question properly. Yes. Okay. Let's do the 2021 paper. Only thing is that question that some part was out of the stupid thing. Okay. That some part was actually it's not properly mentioned in the question. That's why that was hard for you all. So you all can ignore that. Apart from that, you all can analyze the remaining questions. So let me go for the last 2021's the part 2 questions. Then you all will know how easy the questions. So you all are supposed to do the remaining questions. And what you all can do is I will share you all, let's say, this updated PDF with the answers. Then okay, I'll give you all the link for this PDF. And today I will not update this PDF. Tomorrow I'll update this PDF with the answer. So when I'll go for that same link I sent you earlier, probably have the same PDF with the answers highlighted and answered. Okay, Nadeem? Okay, let's answer the 2021 paper. So the following spreadsheet segment shows some statistics of road accidents reported for 2018. So we have the spreadsheet relevant to road accidents relevant to 2018. Okay, cool. Write down the correct formula in the form of function cell 1 to cell 2 that should be entered in cell B13. Let's see where cell B13. In cell B13, okay, to find the total number of vehicles involved in fatal accidents. You want to find the total number of vehicles involved in fatal accidents. Okay. Before you tell me the correct answer, or let me know, should you write the answer like this equals, let's say, ABC, A1 to B1, something like this? Or should you mention function is ABC, A1 is, sorry, yeah, A1 is, let's say, sorry, cell 2 is A1, cell 1 is A1 and cell 2 is B1. Should you specify your answer in the second manner or the first manner as per this question? Nicely read the question, huh? Nicely read the question. Tell me, should you specify your answer in the first manner or second manner? Yes, some of you told the second and now again changing first. It's the first manner. Why? The question has mentioned here to write the correct formula. They have asked you to label what does this mean, right? So because they ask you to write the formula, we have to write our formula. And what is this formula going to be used to? To find the total number of vehicles involved in fatal accidents. Okay. Before we go into the formula, tell me what is the cell? Okay, what is the let's say we have the option to use formula and function both. Okay, so let's think I'll come to functions formula later. Okay, we can all functions are formulas, so we can use a function directly or we can use formula only, a formula without a function even. Let's say we are going to use a function. If we are going to use a function to find a total value, what is the most suitable function? To find total value, what is the most suitable function? Yes, that's going to be the sum function. So I'll put here equals sum. Now you all tell me what is the range of cells, okay, what is the range of cells containing the total number of so the vehicles involved in fatal accidents. Look at this spreadsheet and tell me the accidents relevant to fatal vehicles. Okay, that count is, I mean, the count is there not relevant. That is there in which cell range? Again, I'm telling you all answer the question asked, not the answer you know. Now, question is what is the cell range containing fatal accidents? Containing the values for fatal accidents. Yes, the count relevant for fatal accident is there in starting from cell B4, it goes up to B11. This is the cell range containing fatal accidents. Okay, this is the cell range containing what? The fatal accidents. So the formula is going to be equal, I mean, the function is going to be equal sum B4. Okay, here is the formula, the column name is B now. So right, and it's starting with this. So B4 to B11, like most of you are told. So it's going to be equal sum B4 to B11. Okay. Is there anyone who did not understand that? Or do you all get it? You all got how I got the answer, or is there anyone having any confusions? If you have any confusions, let me know. Let's go for the next one. Assume that the formula entered into cell B13, okay, so where is B13? Okay, what we highlighted is copied to the cell range C13 to E13. So basically, they are saying when you copy this formula to here, let me use a different color to specifically show it. Let's say that same formula is copied here, as well as here, as well as here. That's what they're talking about. Okay. So if you are going to copy it from cell to the cell range E13, so C13 to E13, write down the formula displayed in the cell D13. So they're asking in cell D13. That's basically this is D13. Okay. Yeah. Double confirm D13. Yes, D13 is that. So they are asking if you copy that formula D13, they're asking what would be the formula being displayed in cell D13. So like you all know, in cell B13, what's going to be there? What is your answer? Tell me. What is your answer for the B part? What do you think will be there in cell D13 when you copy this? This is the value in cell B13. No? This is what is there in cell B13. Okay, this whole function is there in cell B13. So if I copy this to cell D13, what would be the answer? What would be the formula? Okay, I'm not asking the value, I'm asking the formula. If I copy the same formula to cell D13, if you all notice here, I'm moving from the cell B13, I'm copying from the cell B13, okay, I'm copying from the cell B13 to the cell D13. So if you notice here, I am moving horizontally. So I hope you all can remember when we are moving horizontally, what is being changed? The column name is being changed. Only the column name is changed. When you are moving only horizontally, only column name is being changed. Apart from that, anything else will not change. So the same formula will be there like equals sum. B4 will become D4 because we have moved 2 steps. We're talking about this fellow. 1, 2. So B will become C and then D. So D4. And then B11. Is it B11? Yeah. B11 will become D11. Okay. I didn't increment any values, only the column name changed. See the row numbering change. B4, 4 is 4, 11 is 11. Only B became D because we are moving horizontally. Only the column name is being changed. I will clear with that. Those who got different answers. Some of you are told B, some of you, so some of you are saying E, some of you are saying D12. So those of you who got different answers, I will okay. You can ignore them, even if you did not understand that, okay. Basically, what this first line is saying is, okay, Akib, what they are specifying here is the formula you have here. Basically, you're copying this cell to these remaining three cells. So I'm just copying this cell here, 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 like what we did earlier when I did have the spreadsheet here. What I did earlier, can remember, I copied the value in, I copied this one to here, here, and here, right? Same thing is happening here as well. So that's what they are mentioning there. Okay, let's go for the next one. Write down the formula in the form of equals function cell C3 to C14 that should be entered in the cell D14 to get the, okay, where is D14? This is D14. D14. Okay, in cell D14 to get the lowest value record for critical accidents. Okay, to find the lowest record for critical accidents. So critical accidents are there in the cell in the column D. Okay, in column D, critical accidents there. So within this critical accident, basically within this range, okay, this is the range of critical accidents. No, in this range, if I want to find the lowest value, you tell me, is there any functions I can use? Again, I'm not answering my question. My question was, is there any function? I did not ask her what is the function. See, you're not answering the question. You're just answering whatever you know. Yes, is there a function? Yes, there is a function. What is the name of the function we have? What is the function we have to find the lowest value in a given range? In a given cell range, if you want to find the lowest value, what is the function we have? Sorry guys. Sorry guys, there was a small network issue. Okay, again send me your answer. What would be the, what do you call? What would be the function? You all said that yes, right, total. There is a function which we can use to find the lowest value. So what is the function we have? It's the max function. Ne? Yeah, the max function. Ne? Good, none of you all fell to the trap. Yes, it is the min function we have. We use a min function. So we can specify here equals, sorry, here equals min, and then the first cell is going to be what? The first cell is going to be cell D4 and the last cell is going to be D11. So it's going to be equals min D4 to D11. Right? That's how we found that answer. Let's go to the next one. Write down the appropriate cell range. So here they ask me about what? The cell range in the form of cell C, in the form of cell 5, C5 to C6 for the formula written in cell B15 to identify the highest number of any accident. Okay. In cell B15, highest number of any accident. In cell B15. So where is cell B15? This is cell B15, highest value of accident. Okay. Now basically we are here talking about the highest value of accident, right? When we are talking about highest value of, I'm lagging. Am I lagging still? Now, okay, perfect. Okay, so we want to find the highest value of accidents. No, we don't want to find the highest value of accidents. Is it accidents only relevant to fatal, or is it accidents only relevant to minor, or is it only accidents relevant to critical, or is it only accidents relevant to damages, or is it only relevant to motorcycle lorry, or is it relevant to all? Is it relevant to all, or is it relevant to a specific topic? Here we are talking about the highest value accidents, right? Is that highest value accident specified to some certain column or certain row, or is it specific to all? Specific topic or all? All accidents. Yes. When we are talking about the highest value accidents, we are specifying it in general out of all of these accidents. Okay, out of all of these accidents, they're asking what is the accident which is highest. Okay, so if I want to find the accident which has the highest count, okay, this is basically the count accident count. No, if I want to find the what you call highest accident count, okay, what is the function I have to use? What is the function I have to use? So my question is, if I want to find the highest value of accidents, okay, if I want out of these all of these accidents, if I want to find what is the highest value of accidents, what is the function I have to use? Is my question. Okay. Yes, I have to use the max function. So when I'm using the max function, you tell me what is the cell range I have to specify in this max function. What is the cell range I have to specify? Hmm? In my max function, what is the cell range? Talk about cell range, not cell range. Yes. A while ago, I told you all this question is asking about the maximum out highest value of accidents out of all. So when you're talking about all the accidents, this is the green part which I'm going to do now contains all accidents. So I have to have all of these accidents recorded. If I'm going to have all of these accidents, so all of these accidents are what? In which range? All of these accidents are there in the range of starting from this one. That's basically what B4 and right side bottom corner is 11. So it's going to be B4 to 11. Okay, this is how we found the maximum. But if you notice the question, is the question asking us the formula or is the question asking something else? The question is not asking the formula, it's asking what? It's asking the cell range. So then for question D, what do you think the answer should be? For that question D, what do you think the answer should be? What should the cell range be? Yes. No, it's not B4 to B11. It is what? They're asking a cell range. Yes, it's going to be B4 to E11, not B11. Okay. The cell range is going to be B4. You didn't understand the question. Now I come to you. It's going to be B4 to E11. So if I'm going to talk about what is this spreadsheet containing, this 1227, 344, they are actually different count for different accidents, which means there have been 1227 fatal accidents by motorcycles. There have been 345 fatal accidents, particular caused by lorries. There have been 318 fatal accidents caused by total purpose vehicle. Now they are saying out of all of these different accident count or accidents values, what is the highest count? Now, for example, I'm telling you, okay, so like 10 people have got accident by cars, 10, 15 people has got accident called motorbike, 13 people have got accident by 15. Because I'm telling you count and going. And I'm asking out of all of them, what is the most dangerous, like what is the highest accident rate? In which vehicle I'm asking. So in that case, what you should do? You're going to analyze all the accidents available. In that scenario, you're going to analyze all the accidents available. So here, if you notice, the all the accidents are there in the range of B4 to E11. Okay, in this green color thing, I put the whole thing. The whole thing contains all accidents rate, all accidents count. So when you're going to find the maximum, you have to consider the wholesale range. Now, are you clear why you have to use all? Cool. That's going to be for 11. You can, if you want, specify the brackets. That's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, specify the brackets is better because here they are. The question is asking only the cell range in the form of cell C5 to C6. So better to mention the brackets as well. Write down the most suitable chart type available in spreadsheet software from the given list of charts for the following. Okay, to show the comparison of the types of accidents involving each vehicle type in the same graph. In one same graph, if you want to show each vehicle type, the last moment the internet is playing the fool. Let's go with this last question for today. So yeah, Shepika, let's manage the last couple of minutes. Okay. Now, all this time I was using my hotspot. Actually, my phone got off. So I connected to the Wi-Fi. The problem is the distance between me and the Wi-Fi is a bit far. So that's why the Wi-Fi is getting on and off. So ignore that for now. Anyways, so here they're talking about what is a more suitable chart type to show what? To show the comparisons of the types of accidents involved in each vehicle. For example, let's say there is in our chart there is okay. If you, so in your spreadsheet there is motorcycle, lorry, blah blah blah. No. So if I want to know in motorcycle how many has got accident, in lorry how many have got accident, in buses how many have got accident, in cars, motor cars how many have got accident. If I want to see that in a like, if I want to see it in a specific chart type, okay, they're asking what is the most suitable chart. Okay, they all tell me out of area chart, bar chart, pie chart, and scatter chart, what do you all think is the most suitable one? If I want to find a nice, if I want to see a good comparison, okay, the word comparison is a keyword. Yes, when you're going to deal with comparisons, the most suitable one is going to be, you can use other charts as well, certain scenarios. The most suitable one when you're going to see each vehicle type. Area chart was not there in our syllabus, so you can forget about area chart here. That's not relevant for all. Okay, but this is how an area chart looks like, because I'll show you because in the syllabus area chart is not there. I'll show you how does the area chart looks below. This is basically how an area chart will look. So this is not there in the syllabus, so you can just completely omit it. Okay, this is how the area chart looks. You can forget about this because it's not there in the syllabus. Okay. So yeah, the most suitable one is a bar chart. Okay, that's can you can see the proper fluctuation in it. Next, to show the number of fatal accidents for each vehicle type. Okay, to show the number of fatal accidents for each vehicle type. If you want to show the number of vehicles, what is the most suitable one? Area, line, pie, scatter. In pie chart, normally we don't specify the number. We specify like the percentage. Most of the scenarios in pie chart, we specify the percentage. So if I want to see the number, it's very hard for you to see the number in a pie chart. In pie chart, normally it's rarely we specify the number. We normally specify the percentage. So therefore, the most suitable one here is going to be the line chart. But actually, in the previous question, there is a possibility you can use pie chart as well. The most suitable answer is bar chart. Don't forget that. In the previous one, okay? The previous one, to see the comparison, when I was in the comparison, the most suitable type is the bar chart. But sometimes we can go with pie chart if we are going to go, because pie chart is normally the comparison, like the percentage basis. So because it's going to be a percentage basis, you can sometimes go for pie chart, but that is not the most suitable one. Okay, that's not the most suitable one. It's better if you go for bar chart, because in the bar chart you can see a proper comparison like this, here you can see like, I mean sorry, like this you can see a proper comparison. Okay, the blocks are like, you can see how what is big, what is small easily in one shot is you can see, but pie chart is very hard. Okay, it's very hard for you to see in a pie chart in the first look. So that's why we don't take normally pie chart for all of these stuffs. We go with bar chart. So yeah, for the next one, because we are dealing with number and normally pie chart will deal with percentage and all those stuffs, it's better for going for line chart here as well. So line chart will be something like this. You can remember. So this will specify here how much does this mean, how much does this mean, how much does this mean. The values will be like mentioned. Okay. That's why we use the line chart normally. So here, the most suitable answer is the line chart. Yeah, so with that, the 2021 paper is also done. You all tell me, how are these questions? Were they easy or hard? Are these questions easy or hard? As long as you read the question properly, the questions are what? It's damn easy. Somewhat hard in the beginning because obviously nothing when you're going to learn something newly, it's a bit hard, a bit. But when you do practice, when you do more questions and questions, it becomes easy because if you notice the questions, if you see the other questions asked here, they're exact, like they're very very simple. All are very easy questions they're asking here. Now, none of these questions are very complicated. Direct answers. And if you notice, if you do past papers, you notice like same questions are being repeated. The problem is I don't have enough time. Already I have taken around 1.5 hours more from you. So because I don't have enough of time, because I have taken 1.5 hours more from you, I'll be stopping with this as I said. So in this game, okay, in this lap, only around 22 of you all were able to complete all the laps. Okay, around 100, even though around 100 plus joined in the first lap, all of them did not have the petrol and energy enough to go for all of the laps. So I'm glad that all of you all had the energy and you all were there up to the end. But yeah, only one thing I have a request from you all: make sure you do the because I given you all this tunes link. So if there's anyone who doesn't have the Google Drive link, let me again resend it to you all in the chat. Yeah, I will send you the updated version. I think it's taking time to save because what we call the process is going like hell in mine. The tute link, why is it taking time to save, man? Okay, it's saved. So let me upload this drive field tute also, and I'll give you all both the what you call PDFs link. Okay. Answers I'll be I will I'll update now. I'm going to update. I'm going to upload them on this one now. I'm going to upload the field tute now. So the field tute I'm going to give you all now. Rename this. Rename it to spreadsheet field tube. So the field tube I'm going to give you all now, right? And I'll update the field tube like another 2 days. Like after 2 days, okay, I'll update. Just someone drop me a reminder or someone like who are coming from the classes, you can drop me a reminder. So what do you call? I'll just on Wednesday we have the class, no, the grade 11 class. So during the grade 11 class, so yeah, better on Wednesday. So the Wednesday class, someone who has come to the grade 11 class, you can drop me a reminder. So then I can what do you call do the changes and make sure you have the same link for that as well. So give me a couple of minutes. I will send you this Google Drive link for the field tube as well. It's uploading. This Wi-Fi is so slow. So sad. No, I didn't see good charge. It's still there. I mean, if you to charge, I don't know. Cut the class and go to make 1 minute left. Ah, the Wi-Fi is so slow. I never expected. Probably what's the size of the file? 6.38 MB. Should go within a couple of seconds. Very bad Wi-Fi. Less than a minute left. You're welcome, Harder. I didn't expect the Wi-Fi to be so slow. Less than a minute and still it's going. Man, quick. Finishing upload, done. With the drive link, extract your field. Okay. So I've actually sent you all the field tute as well as the amplitude. Okay, I specified the field tute and here I mentioned the empty or non-field tute. Non-field tute. You can refer this tute. Nothing big is there in the tute. It's basically the questions that we discussed there. So make sure that you do the remaining questions by Wednesday again. I mean within tomorrow and Wednesday basically. So Wednesday night, I'll upload the. I mean I'll update the existing non-field the field tute. Okay, the field tute I'll update it. So once I've updated the field tute, you will be able to. Yeah, once I update the field tute, you will be able to you'll be able to see the answer to the other questions. So make sure you do the other questions because unless you do, if you're planning, okay, Kanapara think, okay, this should be the answer, this should be the answer, and after if give the field to if you're going to go through it and okay, whatever I thought is correct, that's stupid. Okay, make sure you attempt it, write it somewhere, you scribble it somewhere, whatever you do the questions because unless you do don't do unless you do the questions, it's less possibility for you to get it correct. Okay. So yeah, I hope you all understood at least up to a certain extent. I can't expect that all of you all understood perfectly because none of you all are robots. You all are also human. You all have certain level of understanding. So I think up to a certain level at least you understood. And those who had certain doubts, I hope all of them were clear. Meanwhile, if you all have any queries, questions to be asked, or anything get clarified, anything related to classes or whatever you want, you can let me know. I'll be keeping the meeting. Others and them, whoever those who are there in the meeting, thanks for joining and thanks for being there, even though I dragged for 1.5 hours as usual. And yeah, sorry for dragging it so long. Okay, I could have finished it early if I were explaining why do we need spreadsheets. Huh? If I was directly starting the questions, I would have seriously I would have saved time. But what to do? All of you, like unexpected. All of you have idea of spreadsheets. Bye bye. You're welcome. Bye. Bye. Atyab. Alaikum Atyab. Bye Akib. Good night, Lukman. You're welcome, Amina. You're welcome, Umair. Umar. Bye, Umar. You're welcome, Sad. Barakallah, Yusuf. You're welcome, Nakma. Good, interesting. Welcome. Bye bye. Okay, so as there is no any more comments, I am going to end the meeting.